project onto others. It was such a sniveling little ugh.
Well, he likes to talk in the parlance of values because there's an absence there. And so, but he understands politically the power of talking in values. Like this is a unifying moment. And we're reestablishing our kind of the things that bind us. It was interesting to watch all 37 minutes of that sophistry. Number one, I noted how poorly written the speech was. And just how bad he is at this. It's like watching Hillary. Sometimes you forget just how bad some of these people are at this.
Some aren't good orators.
Speaking, conveying authentic human emotion. What?
You know what was authentic yesterday? And I don't know if you saw this, but Amy Rule, his wife, who doesn't want to be the first lady of Chicago, and I respect that. She just wants to be, a mom and a wife.
Yeah.
Did you see the pep talk she gave him before he went up there? She gave him a that-a-boy on the rear, like, come on, and gave him a little kiss and was very strong. And she might be more effective as a mayor than he would be. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking, because he lives in fear of her.
That's not going to happen. But he went on to do a couple of other things that were interesting. One is, of course, he has convicted Jason Van Dyke.
Good luck getting a jury that's not tainted by this message.
Well, we're going to talk to Van Dyke's defense attorney, Dan Herbert, at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. I'll be interested to see what he has to say.
He's not
I understand people taking positions and on this, but I mean, Rahm really spent a lot of time not focused on the more than 2,000 murders since he's been mayor, focused on Laquan McDonald, not even some of the other cases involving questionable police conduct. But it
was all Laquan.
All Laquan. And all one person. The problem isn't. I mean, he talked about kind of comprehensive reviews and comprehensive approaches to ultimate reforms that are ill-defined at this point. But he really spent a lot of time trying to make Van Dyke wear the jacket, really solo on the Laquan McDonald case.
Nothing can excuse what happened to Laquan McDonald.
Yeah, and he started out, too, talking about Laquan. He never talked about Ronnie Johnson. He never talked about Coleman. He just made it all about Laquan.
He also had some recommendations for police in terms of what they should do. Because it's not just all the great things that Rahm is going to do, because he owns this. It's also what police must do.
I ask every officer in Chicago, reflect on your work, your training, your experience, and to be honest about the fears and frustrations you bring to that job. They are real. They matter. And we as a city cannot be afraid to talk openly and honestly about them.
In John Cass's column today, the Ramia Culpa speech, as he refers to it,
nice.
An expression of deep remorse.
Get it. Yeah, wow, what a play on words.
Yeah, he's very good. He suggests that Chicago police officers are effectively going to go galt on Rahm. And I wonder if people think that. If they're police officers, as one police officer who spoke with Cass, and Cass accounted in his column, I'm just going to keep my hands in my pockets, and one officer echoing many I talked to on Wednesday just after the mayor's speech as protesters marched down Michigan Avenue shouting, Rahm resign. Among other things, they also, one of the slogans was, what was CPD, KKK, who are you going to kill today? Yeah. But what about that? What about that police officers going galt? Because Rahm put a substantial amount of the onus on police officers, as even just indicated in that little clip we just played about, Chicago police officers go home and reflect on your work and your frustrations and what you bring to the job.
It's almost as if he was passing his remorse or guilt off onto them. And really, the cops that I spoke to yesterday said he doesn't have our back. He doesn't care. He just cares about saving himself right now.
No kidding.
That's all he cares about. And again, he brought up Laquan McDonald. I counted 4 times.
The only thing that stands between us and a better place is whether we have the collective will to admit to ourselves where we have fallen short, courage to do the hard but necessary things that will take for us to move forward.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that Mr. McCarthy?
Should really look to, and the pressure mount to actually let the people have a say.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Rahm using the term courage is really rich. Mary, Midway, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hello, Mary. Okay, Mary, sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties. Hold on a second. In addition to that, there were some other odd moments. He blamed guns. He talked about the gun epidemic. He basically rehashed the New York Times editorial from over the weekend. No surprise there. But he also talked about this in terms of leading up to that contrived emotional moment. What the inequitable treatment in the city of Chicago by police. But listen to this. Listen to this.
And I want to be honest. When an African-American mother or father or a grandparent feel it is necessary to train their sons and daughters to behave with extreme caution, when they are pulled over by police, to have both hands on the wheel and visible, what does that say? We have a trust problem.
When you're pulled over and you're taught to put both hands on the wheel, that says we have a trust problem. When I'm pulled over for speeding, which
happens every day,
about every other day, I put my hands on the wheel.
So do I.
What is that? What is he talking about? So if we don't have a trust problem, you can conceal your hands so an officer doesn't know where your hands are and what you're doing when he comes up on your car? That's what you want to do?
He was all over the map. I mean, it was blaming Laquan, the police officer with Laquan McDonald, and then telling us to put our hands on the wheel. And I mean, he was crazy.
Putting your hands on the wheel is somehow disparate treatment before the law? That's an indication that families don't trust police. What the hell are you talking about? And here's another one.
So I asked them, tell me the one thing I need to know.
No, here's the other one, the loitering one.
When parents tell their children not to congregate on corners, especially in groups, out of fear for them encountering the police, what does that say? We have a trust problem.
It says no loitering. What are you talking about? It says no loitering.
We have rules and rules in place because without them, there's chaos.
What does that sign say? No bare feet. Not that sign. The other side. No fighting. What's it mean? No fighting. No loitering.
Yeah, no loitering.
So loitering.
We have a curfew too.
The way that we know that trust has been restored between the citizenry and the police department is if you're concealing your hands when you're pulled over by a police officer and you're loitering with your friends on a street corner.
In fear of police who might come and pop you.
What is he talking? So this was all the what does this say? What does this say? What does this say when my kid gets beat up in a back alley talking to his college counselor? Yeah.
At 10:30 at night on a Friday before 2-week vacation.
Rom's rhetorical questions, and it all led up.
Is it the tears?
All led up to this.
So I asked them, tell me the one thing I need to know. And rather than tell me something, one young man asked me a simple question that gets to the core of what we're talking about. He said, do you think the police would ever treat you the way they treat me?
Wait for it.
And the answer is no. And that is wrong. And that has to change in this city. That has to come to an end now. No citizen is a second-class citizen in the city of Chicago.
Chicago police officers, I want to hear from you. I mean, it's really 312-642-5600. That's our number. You can always reach us on our turnkey.pro text line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. But I mean,
talk
this was
about
a
courtesy
slap,
applause.
Yeah, a slap in the face to police officers.
Now I'm leaving with my 3 bodyguards. I mean, this guy, does anybody buy the 37 minutes of bull jive Tiny Dancer offered the Chicago residents and frankly the nation, because it was a national news story yesterday? Does anybody buy any of this? Mary in Midway, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello. Hi, Dan. Thank you for speaking for me. You do it so well. Always continue.
Thank you.
But you would think for all the things I would call about, between the property taxes, the garbage can fees, the red lights, the constant construction, just the sight of him. But it's reached a whole new level that I have somewhere to vent, which would be you. He preempted my Ellen Christmas show. The whole show was
boy.
because of, but I have to be honest, it
Now
was
he's done
yesterday's,
it.
it was Mondays. And you can't get Ellen back. She does Ellen in 1 minute online. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's come to a whole new level.
Yeah, thanks for
Mary,
calling.
I'm
That
so
that
sorry.
really is
No,
crossing.
you know,
That's
he's crossed
crossing the line. Yeah, that is. Boy, now he's done it. Now he's going to go from 14% approval to under 3, I think, because of the Ellen preempt. Raymond in Humboldt Park.
Hello.
Hey, Raymond, you're on.
Oh, thank you. Listen, I'm a Latino. I'm 49 years old, and I grew up around Humboldt Park. All right. So don't tell me that it's okay for kids, nice kids to hang out and just congregate in the corner. They're not congregating in the corner. They're gangbanging. They're selling drugs. That's what they do. That's what gangbangers do. Intimidate people. So it's okay for them to do that? No.
Thanks for the call.
Well, according to the
Yeah,
mayor,
thanks
it's
for the
okay,
call, Raymond.
and they have rights.
What are you talking about? I mean, that is the indicia of a lack of trust. Those kids loitering on the street corner in front of a liquor store, I mean, that could be a poetry reading. Greg on the Northwest Side.
Yeah, I love this stuff with Rambo, talking up there like he's, the cat's meow. All this crap started under the other runt, meathead Richard M. Daley, and it just keeps going. This stuff never ends, and now it's all the cops' fault, everybody's fault except these clowns running this city. You know what? You guys are going to start hearing about dead people and other people not voting on stuff for a new tax they're trying to implement in the Northwest Side, this special service area. Don't worry. You'll get filled in on that. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Greg.
We must do something about this immediately. Harumph, 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 harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph. You watch your ass.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, we could have record-breaking warmth around here. High of 59, but we could hit 62, and if that is so, that will beat a record that was set back in. Are you ready for this? I've done my homework. 1879.
I remember like it was yesterday.
You Botox well. And then tomorrow, Friday, mostly cloudy, mild, a high of 53. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Inbound Ryan, a little slow now. Cermak into downtown Chicago, about a 3-minute delay. Bishop Ford, got a 4-minute delay from 103rd to the merge. Everything else looking pretty good right now. The Tri-State does have a little road work right around the Reagan Tollway between there and North Avenue. Left lane closed each way, but there's not any delay. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is John Serlick. I'm a trial lawyer in Chicago. I have recommended several friends and colleagues, business colleagues of mine, to Townstone because they will get the same treatment that I've gotten. The people at Townstone don't look at you as just a commission or a fee. They look at you as a long-term relationship, that they're going to be part of your life, not only for this purchase of your home or the refinance, but ones down the road.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
Everywhere you go, the threat looms. It follows you no matter what you do. The longer you avoid the IRS and the financial difficulties you're going through, the closer they get to you. John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm can help you end the feeling of being hunted by the IRS. If you've avoided taxes or could benefit from the life-saving assistance of bankruptcy, it's time you call John DeWatt. This is an attorney who is willing to take on the federal government on your behalf. He has worked to discharge thousands of dollars in penalties, and he can help you settle your debts once and for all. Call 888-777-4193. Let the hunters become the hunted. Let John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm deal with the IRS personally. Call John for your own relief plan. 888-777-4193 or online at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com. That's thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Our Feed the Children campaign continues. Our goal, and we are almost there, is to feed 18,000 children in and around Chicagoland area this year. And we have a great program for small business owners, or if you do the marketing for your company, it's the Business Benefactor Program. A one-time donation of $2,500, tax deductible. All of the money goes to Feed the Children, and we will give you, as a way of saying thanks, 40 one-minute commercials that will air prime time here Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. And to to become a part of this program, call Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527. Again, that number, 847-871-1527.
And we'd like to thank all the business benefactors who've signed up to date, including, not exhaustive list, but here's a bunch of them: Strata Contractors, Franciscan Outreach, North State Steel, St. Timothy Lutheran Church of Lombard, Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, Inspire Realty Partners, Meg Schmidt Consulting, I know Meg Schmidt, Tall Grass Restoration, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, Patient MD, Heartstrings, Lifesavers Health and Safety Training, Access Master, Automated Systems Incorporated, Thinking Outside the Box Law, and Grandview Capital. Thank you so much for your generosity.
Yeah, and those are just some of the business benefactors. And again, slots are filling up quickly. Act now. Do it today. It is a great way to take your business to the next level. Nowhere in Chicago can you get 40 one-minute commercials for $2,500. Call Michael Mann, 847-871-1527.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm amazed. I want to say thank you to Balance of Nature. You guys are awesome. God bless you. The reason I have so much enthusiasm is because I speak as a person who has investigated the things that are out there. What I see is that there's many, many people telling the same story, and it's ruining it for the people who really are true. You know, up until this point, I had a lot of doubt whether, you know, I have an instinct that there should be something you can spend some money on and get something good, and I hadn't found it, and I believe I have found it this time. So, again, awesome, and thank you.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
For a long time, Turnkey IT has been providing solutions to AM 560 business owners. It's a name that you've come to know and trust. Turnkey IT takes care of your technology and has a plan that fits your company's IT budget and network needs. Interested in moving some or all of your business to the cloud? Turnkey IT can migrate your network to Microsoft's Office 365. Need someone to call when you can't print, have a lost file, or need tech support? Turnkey IT's got you covered. Offsite backup? Check. On-site support? Check. Help desk support? Check. Turnkey IT staff is professional, friendly, punctual, and will solve all of your technical problems immediately and work even after normal business hours, all for a fixed monthly rate. Turnkey IT knows your network is truly the heartbeat of your company, so focus on your business and leave the technical stuff to the pros. Visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How is Trump faring other than being banned in the UK? We'll have that at 5:35.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 42 degrees right now. We're watching developments out west. As forecasters say, more rain is on the way for the Pacific Northwest today and through the weekend. State of emergencies have been declared in the state of Washington in several areas. Mudslides, power outages, and major flooding. Officials and public records indicate there was a deeper connection between the gunman and the San Bernardino massacre and the friend who bought the assault rifles used in that shooting. Meantime, FBI Director James Comey says the two San Bernardino shooters were radicalized before they started dating.
They were actually radicalized before they started courting or dating each other online. And online, as early as the end of 2013, they were talking to each other about jihad and martyrdom before they became engaged.
In Washington today, President Obama will sign a rewrite of the landmark No Child Left Behind education law. The 2002 law had been considered unworkable and overreaching. Under the new law, students will still take some federally required statewide reading and math exams. Republican presidential candidate and Florida Senator Marco Rubio held a town hall in Oakland County, Michigan, suburban Detroit yesterday, and he weighed in on those controversial remarks by GOP frontrunner Donald Trump.
We've never had a religious test, and I would just say to you that to have a religious test would violate the Constitution. But to move further on this issue, it's not that we're banning people because of their faith. Look, we need to work with Muslims in the Middle East, Sunnis. Sunnis need to defeat this radical Sunni group. The issue is, can we properly vet people coming into this country? If you cannot properly vet someone, whether they're Muslim or not, they shouldn't be allowed into the United States, irrespective of what their faith background might be.
In Minnesota this morning, a man has been charged with conspiring to help ISIS. 20-year-old Abdirazak Warsami was charged by criminal complaint with conspiracy to provide materials support to a foreign terror organization. Former director of a foundation started by ex-Subway pitchman Jared Fogle is scheduled to be sentenced today for producing child porn. Russell Taylor agreed in September to plead guilty to child exploitation and child porn charges. Prosecutors want him behind bars for 35 years. Pressure mounting in the city of Chicago as now an Illinois state representative has introduced a plan that would allow for the recall of Chicago's mayor. Representative LaShawn Ford joins Dan and Amy at 6:37 this morning on AM 560. Demonstrators demanding the resignation of Chicago's mayor and a top Cook County prosecutor marched through downtown and blocked traffic yesterday after the mayor addressed the Chicago City Council on the crisis of trust in city policing. And lawyers in a 2013 Chicago police shooting case say the city keeps on fighting the release of video despite pledges of greater transparency. The comments follow a Wednesday hearing in a civil case brought by Cedric Chapman's family. Chicago sports. Jimmy Butler had a season-high 36. It was not enough. Boston beat the Bulls 105-101. The news service of Lead Safe America. Do you live in an historic home? Renovating? Your children could be at risk. It takes just a microscopic amount of lead dust to poison a child. Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I think America is dying.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Everybody came here to be free. Everybody came here to strike it out on their own. Everybody wanted government to stay out of their hair. Everybody wanted to be free. Not today. We have way too many people in America who no longer want that America.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Now at Buffalo Wild Wings, try their Buffalo Mac and Cheese. It's got all the flavors you love. Crispy buffalo chicken and mac made with rich, creamy cheddar cheese. Warm up while the football action heats up. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Fact. College Illinois 529 prepaid tuition locks in tuition at today's plan rates to help secure your child's future. Purchase now and enjoy 2015 plan prices before they increase on January 1st. Enroll now at collegeillinois.org.
I know you've heard the IRS has the right to freeze your assets, garnish your wages. Good news is they can also give you a way out called the Fresh Start Initiative, a tax debt compromise program designed to save you serious money. Optima is the nation's leading tax resolution firm. Over 300 professionals to help ensure you pay the minimum, not a penny more. Thousands call every month. You can call right now. Optima. That's Latin for cut me some slack.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
536 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound side of the Ryan Expressway, traffic is stop and go from 35th to the Burns Circle. A report of a disabled truck at Roosevelt blocking the right lane. IDOT's responding. It's 25 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound fine at 15. Inbound to Bishop Ford, you've got a 6-minute delay from 115th to the Ryan. Edens is clear, so is the Kennedy. The Eisenhower still fine. Inbound Stevenson, just a little heavy past Pulaski. No delays to report on the tollways. Little road work on the tri-state in both directions around North Avenue. The left lane is closed till 6. Traffic is a service of Let Us Entertain You. Give the gift that fits all appetites. A Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100 in Lettuce gift cards you buy. Simply visit a Lettuce restaurant or LEYE.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Clouds breaking, windier. Temperatures could soar in the south and western suburbs near the record of 62. We'll have a low of 40 overnight. 45 right now. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by American Embroidery and Screen Printing, now offering free artwork for new customers. Call 630-766-2825.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
So, Amy, Trump is going the way of Michael Savage in England.
Oh, yes, that's right. He's now on a list, or let me see. Last I checked, there's 397,000 people who signed a petition to ban him from visiting the UK. He's one of they describe him as a hate creature.
Mm-hmm.
He would be the 85th hate creature on the list there. That's what they call him. There's 84 currently, and he'd be the 85th one. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a move. There's a member of the parliament that has moved to have him banned under Britain's, hate speech laws. Remember, the UK doesn't have our no right to free speech,
right.
No constitution like the United States.
We fought a war to separate from them.
Yeah,
yes.
just ask Michael Savage about that.
Yeah, so
also
he's
banned
on there
in
too,
England.
right?
He was previously banned in England, so it's very interesting.
Did you see the parliament member who brought this up?
No.
She looked like Amy Winehouse. I mean, really, she shouldn't dress as if she's going clubbing after they take a vote. That's just my advice, woman to woman. Not ripping on her. I'm just trying to help her.
And she doesn't
help
want
herself.
She doesn't want to go to rehab. So that's what's happening in England. But what's happening here with respect to the Republican primary right here, South Carolina?
Yeah, new polls are out, huh?
Trump leading 35-14, just like he is in New Hampshire. He's up right now in Iowa. I think that's going to change. By the way, the social conservatives, the family leaders, religious leaders, the Jim Dobsons of the world, and those Vanderplatte in Iowa, they're all throwing in for Ted Cruz.
Really?
Ted Cruz is going to win Iowa, and he's going to win Iowa going away. You heard it here first. But that doesn't mean that Trump is not still a formidable candidate, because he is. And here's why. Bloomberg poll. Among likely Republican primary voters, do you favor or oppose the Trump proposal for a temporary ban on all Muslims who are citizens of foreign countries from entering the United States?
Okay.
65% favor, 22% oppose. So if you're doing 2/3 of the Republican primary electorate like your proposal, it's a pretty safe place to be politically. In addition to that, it's not near as upside down nationally when you include all likely voters as you would think it is, hearing how the media covers it and all of the hand-wringing and the hysteria and all the Harrison Ford weighing in and J.K. Rowling. And I mean, it just on and on and on. Muhammad Ali. Well, not surprisingly.
He's our Muslim sports hero.
Among all likely voters, 37% favor, 50% oppose what Trump has proposed. So, yeah, that's a 13-point deficit in terms of the fave on fave.
You're so good with the numbers.
Yeah, thank you. But here's the thing. if you when you test somebody's fave on faves in a campaign, if you don't have something that is more than 60% unfavorable, really more than 70%, you don't even use it because it's just too close to really move voters.
Oh,
so
okay.
basically, politically, particularly in the context of a Republican primary, this is much better than a wash for Donald Trump. This is downright positive for him politically. And it's just interesting to note. And I think it's going to get more positive for him. And here's why. 10th terrorism suspect arrested in Eagan, Minnesota. A 20-year-old Somali American from Eagan was arrested by the FBI Wednesday night on charges of supplying material support to terrorists in Syria and Iraq, according to federal authorities and court documents. 10th. In April 2014, several men began conspiring to travel to Syria to join and fight with ISIS. 9 of those men, including the suspect arrested on Wednesday night, have so far been charged. 3 have pled guilty. 5 are scheduled to begin trial in May. So you have a substantial Somali population in Minnesota.
Huge.
Several of them have been picked off because they want to go back to Somalia and enlist with al-Shabaab. And others want to go to Syria and join the fight with ISIS. Homegrown. That's what Trump is talking about, or that's what he's trying to address. I'm not saying I agree with the proposal because I've already said I don't. But this is what he's speaking to, and this is why what he is saying is popular. And then there's this. Ex-Gitmo detainee now serves as leader and spokesman for al-Qaeda in Yemen.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah, it says we're...
I hope he has wonderful benefits.
Right, as we're cleaning out Gitmo because President Obama, wants to keep that campaign promise he hasn't kept, and releasing enemy combatants willy-nilly to countries that are going to babysit them, except we know that's not going to work, at least not work long-term. Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula released a new video featuring a former Gitmo detainee, Ibrahim Kosi, who is also known as Sheikh Kubayab al-Sudani. Kosi pled guilty to charges of conspiracy and material support for terrorism before a military commission in July of 2010. His plea was part of a deal in which he agreed to cooperate with prosecutors during his remaining time in U.S. custody. He was ultimately transferred to his home country of Sudan 2 years later in July of 2012. And now he serves as the leader and spokesman for al-Qaeda in Yemen. Remember Yemen? That was one of our success stories.
That's right.
This is why it's not such a success story. Then there was this incident at the Walmart in Lebanon, Missouri. I don't know if you saw this one.
When did that happen?
Last night. A bunch of individuals that were dressed in Muslim garb trying to buy 60 burner cell phones.
From the Walmart there?
Right.
Yeah, I hope somebody said something.
Exactly. That's exactly what somebody did. Kind of an odd purchase, and the cell phones are untraceable. So a Walmart employee contacted authorities. Authorities came, questioned the individuals, ultimately didn't have any reason to hold them or to stop the purchase, so they allowed the purchase to be completed, and then they notified the federal law enforcement authorities, FBI, about this incident. So at least they're on the FBI's radar right now.
Thank goodness.
Now, is that Islamophobia? Is that an abridgment of anybody's rights? I don't think so.
Well, Farouk's wife, the bloodthirsty bride, I love to call her that, she went into a gun range wearing a full burqa and fired rounds after round after round, and nobody questioned why she was there because they were afraid about racial profiling. And I sound off. You and I were talking during the break about Mall of America. Last time I went there, my kids were wondering what was going on. They could not believe how many Somalians were there, and they were scared. And I don't want to sound racist, but it's true. And I was a little frightened as well because you just don't know.
Well, and you don't know, but we know what's happening on the ground. Again, the kind of typical caveat. It's a small percentage, but it's a meaningful one.
All it takes is one.
All it takes is one. You got, this is in Minnesota, right outside Minneapolis. You got 10 suspects who've been arrested. A number have pled guilty. Others are awaiting trial, all allegedly conspiring to travel to Syria to join the fight with ISIS. And then there's this in response to Trump. You ready for this?
Yeah.
You want to really ratchet this up and frankly, play right into Trump's hands politically again. You want to make this a choice between what Trump is proposing or what Senator Patrick Leahy, liberal Democrat from Vermont, Bernie Sanders' buddy, is proposing. Leahy is proposing an amendment to a larger bill governing nuclear safety that would prohibit the U.S. government from barring any individual from entering the country based on their religion. What this would essentially do, were it passed, is extend constitutional rights to non-citizens. Is that a good idea? Constitutional rights to non-citizens. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636DA, the turnkey.pro text line.
Well, that bill's not going to go anywhere, is it? Is it, Dan?
I don't know.
Just tell me it's not, Dan.
I can't imagine it will, but you know how stout of heart Mitch McConnell and a lot of the Republicans in the Senate are, which is to say not very. Remember, President Obama has maintained that a religious test for immigrants is unconstitutional. He's wrong. There is a religious test right now for asylum. You have to be, for example, persecuted because of your religion. So that's a religious test. That also has not been the case legally throughout the annals of this country's history. I'm not saying that it necessarily has always been handled properly. I am not a proponent of willy-nilly discrimination. I am a proponent of common sense. I am a proponent of vetting people coming to this country. And this is where I don't understand why those lines can't be drawn, why sensible lines can't be drawn. And frankly, neither does a majority of the American public, which helps explain Trump and all of these elites that Trump is running against that are denigrating him and his proposal, as well as going beyond that to attack his supporters. Boy, aren't they just playing right into his hand. You want to have a throwdown on this issue? In the famous words of Jesse Jackson Jr., bring it on. You know how that worked out for Jesse Jr.?
It worked out.
Not great. Oh, by the way, remember, while President Obama is preening about discrimination, starting with the Syrian refugees and now extending to the Trump proposal, just remember, he pressed the pause button on Iraqi refugees. He pressed the pause button. This administration has previously done precisely what they suggest is racist and Islamophobic with respect to Syrian refugees. The hypocrisy is rank. Deborah in Palatine.
Good morning. We need to be worrying about our own U.S. citizens. And as I told your screener, I am perfectly fine with temporarily banning anybody coming in from Muslim countries or Northern Africa until we can get a really strong vetting process in place where we thoroughly check their backgrounds. And then if people leave and go back there and want to come back, then the scrutiny becomes that much stronger for getting them back in here. I see no problem with that at all. It's American citizens we need to be worried about.
Thanks for the call, Deborah.
It's true. I mean, and Donald Trump, he is capitalizing on this. He's doing well. He went on again yesterday. He went on Kelly and Michael and said, we need this for the safety of America.
These are people that are outside of the country, so we're really not talking about the Constitution. And it's not about religion. This is about safety.
Yeah, it's about safety. It's not about religion. It's about safety. And she questioned, too, Kelly Ripa, not that she's a strong journalist, but she did ask, is this against the Constitution to ban people from coming into this country? And he explained what you explained, religious tests. It's there. It's in place for a reason, folks, so we should use it.
It's been done in various contexts many times throughout the course of American history. I mean, that's just a fact. I think if Trump would have chosen his words differently, that this would be received differently. But I also think if Trump would have chosen his words differently, it wouldn't have the global reaction it's having.
Yeah, this is part of his campaign strategy. It's brilliant. I mean, he knows what we fear the most and what we're angry about the most, and he uses it to his advantage.
And you know what this...
That's why he's being banned from the UK. It's great.
Well, it's great for him.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's great
it's
for
wonderful.
him. And if he's president of the United States, those will be some interesting diplomatic visits to
did you hear
London.
What he said about Angela Merkel, who became Times Person of the Year? Because he wanted that. he said she's a disgrace for letting Syrian refugees in. But he was jealous. He thought he was going to get it, Dan.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what this to me is consistent with Trump's campaign more generally, and the stubbornness of his support, and even seeing it bubble up a little bit more than it has been in the last several weeks. All the elites, I know them all. They're even worse than you think. They're proving it by how they're reacting to Trump, and by extension, this is, I think, Trump part of message, by that reacting to Trump, and by extension, by how they're reacting to you. They don't respect you. They don't respect that you played by the rules, that you are seeing your quality of life reduced, that you're being ridiculed and called names. You're being told you're a bad person by the ruling class in Washington, D.C. I'm telling them to go get bent. I want you to join me. And a lot of people are responding to that message.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Today, some record warmth around here. We could break a record set back in 1879 if we hit 62 degrees for a high. That would be wonderful. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Mild conditions continue, a high of 53. Let's see if it's mild out on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Dan, good morning. So far, so good on the Edens and the Kennedy. No delays there. Inbound Eisenhower, a little slow. Manheim to First Avenue. Just a 1 or 2 minute delay. Same true of the inbound Stevenson from Pulaski to Kedzie. Inbound Ryan's pretty heavy. Delays 95th to 79th and 35th into the loop. It's 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 19 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Tollway still okay. Northbound Tri-State just a little heavy around 290 after some overnight work. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
You've heard me talking about the new website, upstream-ideas.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, then you're missing thoughtful expository content you won't find anywhere else from those who operate in the political and policy arenas. Each week you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current. That's our long-form interview series with policymakers and opinion leaders. This week, CNBC contributor and author Bethany McLean. She's got a new book called Shaky Ground about the housing market. You want to check that out. You can also watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time to explain what the policy challenges are, why we have them, and what we can do about them. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising, which tackles state and local politics and policy with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. At Upstream Ideas, questions are asked that don't get asked anywhere else. Points of view are heard that are not heard anywhere else. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
That's Lisbeth. She doesn't know it, but she owes her life to a change in public opinion. Our younger generation of women is turning the tide of public opinion concerning abortion. The most recent statistics show that more women facing unwanted pregnancies are choosing life compared to 15 years ago. Many wonder why, if a pregnant woman and her unborn child are murdered, it's a double homicide. Yet they ask, why isn't abortion a crime? More women now value life, even if their unwanted child is to be placed for adoption, because they may feel like they can never forgive themselves of an abortion, even if the law does. Lake County Right to Life, helping young women choose courage over convenience. LCRTL.org. That's LCRTL.org. Visit Lake County Right to Life on Twitter and Facebook, or call 847-223-7022.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right, as if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Harris-Nuan of Dr. Amy and Associates. One of the services we provide, mental health and wellness. We see children, adolescents, and adults for individuals, couples, and family counseling. We even do psychiatry and medication management. All of our thoughts, feelings, and actions are a result of have those conditioned ways of thinking, feeling, and being that lead us to make decisions. And so I work with individuals to help them understand and help them create a new blueprint to move them from a negative mindset to a positive mindset.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit dramyandassociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
Having a great smile to show off makes you feel good. There's no embarrassment associated with being able to flash your pearly whites whenever you want. If you'd like to feel that comfort and confidence with your smile, there's only one person who can help you. Dr. Neruzzi of Fox River Periodontics.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one, I was happy with it, so I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful. They're just like your real teeth, and they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they'll last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. He'll be happy you did, and Fox River Periodontics.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
We want to thank our business benefactors, those who've signed up to help feed the children this holiday season. A $2,500 tax-deductible donation. All the money goes to feed the babies. And then as a way of saying thank you, we give you 40 one-minute commercials that will air prime time right here on AM 560. If you have not done so, call Michael Mann right now. He's waiting for you. He's waiting by the phone, 847-871-1527. I can't say the number enough. 847-871-1527. Michael Mann's ready to take your call.
If he put you on hold because there's getting so many calls, you'll know that you got the right guy because he'll have the Jan Hammer music on.
Oh, hey. We want to thank some of our business benefactors. Tall Grass Restoration, Meg Schmidt Consulting, Inspire Realty Partners, St. Timothy Lutheran Church of Lombard. Your friend, he's a pastor there, isn't he?
Pastor Ed Bryant.
Yeah, the gun safety.
Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates.
Mm-hmm. Not my guy, but maybe they
Not
can
your
become,
guy. Wow.
Maybe after they advertise here, I will swing by.
Okay, Michael Jackson. North State Steel, Franciscan Outreach, Strata Contractors, Thinking Outside the Box Law, Access Master, Lifesavers Health and Safety Training, and many more.
Heartstrings. I'm wearing one of their lockets right now.
It lights up the room.
It does. Isn't this pretty? It's a beautiful piece. If you can see us on the web, I'm wearing a heartstrings necklace right now. So to become a business benefactor, and trust me, you're going to want to do this sooner rather than later, you need to call Michael Mann right now. 847-871-1527. Hunger is a real problem for 1 in 5 children, and we want to make a difference this holiday season. So you can call the Business Benefactor Program or make an individual donation at 866-435-2248. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I liked Rahm Emanuel's speech, but I liked it better the first time I heard it when Al Pacino performed it in City Hall. What did you think? We'll take your calls at 606.
But now let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an Aurora man pleads guilty to planning a terror attack. A state representative proposing a bill to recall Chicago's mayor, and the Celtics hand the Bulls their third straight loss. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. He's accused of helping the San Bernardino killers. So a former neighbor of Syed Farouk, Enrique Marquez, is expected to be indicted soon for providing the guns used. And
law enforcement officials believe Farouk and Marquez discussed executing an attack somewhere in the Los Angeles area in 2012, but never followed through on that.
Fox's Robert Gray, 14 died in the California massacre, and the first funeral is planned.
Funeral services will be held today for San Bernardino shooting victim Yvette Velasco, who had worked with Farouk.
Donald Trump's taking a lot of flack over his call for a temporary ban on Muslims coming to America, but it's giving him a boost in a new Fox poll. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Trump is the runaway favorite in South Carolina, where he has 35% support of likely Republican primary voters. Ben Carson a distant second with 15% support. The poll was conducted Saturday through Tuesday. Trump called for the Muslim ban on Monday and defended it last night on the O'Reilly factor.
It's a temporary ban on not everybody, but many. I would set up a system to see who qualifies to come in, who doesn't.
Support for Trump went up 8 points after his statement, from 30% the first two nights to 38% the last two nights. Dave?
Rachel, he's apologized, but that's not enough for some in Chicago.
We are calling for the resignation of Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
Protesters still angry over the shooting of a black teen by a white cop charged 13 months after the killing when video finally came out. He had a lot to say in court.
Kill the babies. That's what Planned Parenthood does.
Robert Deere did several outbursts declaring himself a warrior for babies as he was formally charged in last month's abortion clinic attack in Colorado Springs that left 3 people dead.
Let's let it all come out. Truth.
Deere declared himself guilty in one of those outbursts at that hearing yesterday. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 42 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An Aurora man has pleaded guilty to charges he conspired to provide material support to ISIS and made false statements regarding terrorism. Jonas Edmonds entered the plea before a federal judge yesterday. He's accused, along with his cousin Hassan Edmonds, of plotting to attack the Illinois National Guard base in Joliet with assault rifles and grenades. An Illinois state representative has introduced a plan that would allow for the recall of Chicago's mayor. Democrat LaShawn Ford filed that legislation Wednesday, outlining a lengthy process for a city special election. He will explain with Dan and Amy at 6:37 this morning. Demonstrators demanding the resignation of Chicago's mayor and Cook County's top prosecutor marched through downtown and blocked traffic after Mayor Rahm Emanuel gave a city speech where he vowed to reform the police department and said the city must tackle underlying issues like poverty.
What happened on my watch, the innocent loss of the life of a young man, and a systematic breakdown of a system that was supposed to safeguard the protection of life.
The mayor isn't the only city official protesters are demanding to resign. Dozens showed up last night at the Chicago Police Board meeting. They're calling for members of that board to step down. Demonstrators also urged the panel to fire the officers involved in the shooting deaths of Rekia Boyd and Ronald Johnson. Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan says it's time for the state income tax to rise again, this time to at least 5%, as AM 560's David Stewart reports.
At a City Club of Chicago luncheon, Madigan continued to portray Governor Rauner's push for anti-union, pro-business reforms as extreme and the reason there's no budget or new revenue. Madigan said ultimately taxes will have to go up, but how much?
All right, let me avoid creating a headline for tomorrow's newspaper and say that a good place to begin would be the level we were at before the income tax expired. Starting there, you can go in whatever direction you want to go.
That means to at least 5%. Republicans immediately blasted Madigan's tax increase answer as being tone deaf. David Stewart, Chicago.
Chicago sports, Boston over the Bulls 105-100. College hoops, Illinois beat Yale. Women's college baskets, nice contest. Notre Dame, number 3 in the land, beat number 18 DePaul 95-90. And the A's trade third baseman Brett Lowry to the South Side, sending him to the White Sox for a couple of minor league prospects. The news, a service of Think It Up. And at 6:04, it's time to take comfort with Air Comfort. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
If you've ever heard Turnkey IT advertise on this station and wondered if they'd be the right fit for your company or team, then listen to this.
I contacted Turnkey IT after experiencing numerous problems with my former IT company. Since we've hired them, we haven't been down a day since.
Everything integrated, not only our IT stuff, but also our phone system, internet. So it's pretty much one-stop shopping with great technology. Everybody there at Turnkey is very responsive. I don't regret anything about using them. I would highly recommend them.
We were having communication difficulties with our previous IT company. That's when we contacted Turnkey IT. We are so much better off today than we were 2 years ago.
I've been using Turnkey IT for 15 years now. They have designed, installed, and supported our multi-location, 70-user system flawlessly. This is exactly why I use Turnkey IT.
There's a reason why people trust Turnkey IT to maintain their computer networking systems. So maybe it's time for you to give yourself a gift this holiday with a visit to turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Do you need to replace your tired old blinds? What if you could wave a magic wand and make them absolutely perfect? Well, you can't. But you can go to Blinds.com, the world's #1 online blind store. There's a huge selection, helpful videos, even a free design consultation. And every week they'll make brand new offers appear right before your eyes. So visit Blinds.com and make upgrading to new beautiful blinds seem almost magical. Go to Blinds.com or call 888-4BLINDS. That's 888-4-BLINDS. Call or go to Blinds.com today.
Have you purchased gold? Did you overpay in commissions? How much did you pay? Do you actually know? What are your coins worth today? You work hard for your money. Pay their high commissions or get more gold. Call Goldworth. Discover what big dealers hope you don't know. Request the Insider's Guide free. Don't buy another ounce without it. Call 800-257-GOLD. 800-257-GOLD. Visit goldworth.com.
6:06 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Eisenhower Expressway has a 5-minute delay from Manheim to Harlem. Outbound, just a 1 or 2 minute delay from Harlem to First Avenue. The Edens is clear. The Kennedy's still looking good. It's getting heavier, though. Inbound Stevenson, it's slow from Harlem to Kedzie and State to Lakeshore Drive. 41 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 5 to 34. Inbound Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. The main delays are from 35th into the Loop area. I-57, 17 minutes. I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 19. North on Tri-State slow, Reagan tollway to 290, especially on the ramp to westbound 290. The other tollways are good. Northwest Indiana delay-free. Traffic to service of the Foundation for a Better Life. Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. Traffic answers when you need them most on Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds give way to some sun. Increasingly windy with a high of 57, breezy with increasing clouds tonight, low 38. Then tomorrow, mostly cloudy and mild with a high of 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 43 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The mayor is trying desperately to change the conversation away from the past 13 months to his new effort to end racism and officer misconduct in the Chicago Police Department.
But if we're also going to begin the healing process, the first step in that journey is my step, and I'm sorry.
Run must go! Run must go! Run must go! Run must go!
Protesters say they will march well into the night, planning yet another protest within the hour.
The backlash is growing around the world tonight over Donald Trump's plan to ban Muslims from entering the U.S., at least temporarily.
I'm the least racist person that you have ever met. I am the least racist person.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan and Amy? So does anybody buy the fertilizer Rahm was spreading around City Hall yesterday? 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line 646-36DA is the Turnkey.pro text line. We'll get your reactions to what Rahm had to say, and he had a lot to say. I mean, if I didn't do this show, I would have kind of tuned out after 2 minutes. You know what the rule is, right? After 20 minutes, people kind of lose focus. They don't remember what you say. He went on about twice that amount of time.
I have 37 minutes, but I thought he gained steam because I was just just wondering, looking at that performance and wondering what is going on.
Well, he had a message for you.
He was a
Amy
hot
Jacobson
mess yesterday,
and me and all Chicago residents. Take a listen. Listen up. Tiny Dancer's about to talk.
I want to speak directly to every resident of Chicago. I work for you. My first responsibility, and your government's first responsibility, is to keep you and your family safe and to make sure that you feel safe in your neighborhoods. And we have clearly fallen short on this issue, and that needs to change.
I love that. We. Who's we?
Who is we?
What have I done? Why is it part? Why am I included? And why are you included in that? You've fallen short.
Right, but he also said we need to reset our values. I don't need to reset my values. I know what my values are.
Right.
I know what I value in life and in the city of Chicago. If he has a problem, he can reset his values. He just kept projecting on all of us that we need to do this. I have nothing to do with the Laquan McDonald shooting.
Rahm's values are our values.
Oh, that's right, Chick-fil-A.
He's like our little tiny father.
My Jewish uncle I never wanted.
That's right. It's Chicago. Chicago, the place where Rahm's values
are my values.
Are your values. Right.
You're going to respect me.
Chick-fil-A doesn't represent Chicago values, but Rahm Emanuel does.
Yeah, see, it makes no sense.
Chick-fil-A or Rahm Emanuel, whose values do you want to emulate?
Hard choices.
Feel free to weigh in on that one as well. So Rahm and, what we have to do, one of the things we have to do, to no one's surprise, is give up our guns.
As a nation, we have done too little to reverse the gun epidemic that makes every encounter between the public and the police potentially lethal. Shoot first and ask questions later too easily become the default practice and posture in a fearful world where mass killings are now a regular event and there's an increasing likelihood of a gun in every home, car, or backpack.
We have a right to do that if we so choose to.
Yeah, shoot first and ask questions when? Later?
And then he correlated.
Who's he talking about?
I don't know. Because then he went into mass shootings. He was trying to blame the guns for police shootings and for mass shootings. Instead of blaming the person holding the gun, he was blaming the gun.
Yeah, well,
it's an innate object. You cannot blame a gun.
Well, here's the issue too. I mean, I know we want to just focus on the Laquan McDonald case, and it
because he did
deserves focus. But according to HeyJackass.com, which is the outlet of record for violent crime stats in Chicago, as far as I'm concerned, year to date, 417 shot and killed in Chicago, 2,394 shot and wounded.
Oh my gosh!
Just this year, total of 472 homicides. That's just this year. You want to go back and look at previous years? This is now rivaling the 2012 year. That was supposed to be an aberration, and then we were declining. Oh, by the way, on guns, we talked about this before. FBI crime stats started 1960. Lowest murder per capita in this country since FBI started keeping those crime stats. So we have more people, we have more guns, exponentially more guns on the streets than we did, say, in 1960, and we have less violent crime. Less violent crime. Now, Chicago may be an outlier, but maybe that has more to do with the political leadership in Chicago, my little friend, than it does, as you suggest, inanimate objects. Rahm did offer, what did John Cass has a little play on words today, the Ramia culpa. And here it is for your
listening pleasure.
Disgust.
I am the mayor. As I said the other day, I own it. I take responsibility for what happened because it happened on my watch. And if we're going to fix it, I want you to understand it's my responsibility with you. But if we're also going to begin the healing process, the first step in that journey is my step, and I'm sorry.
We forgive you.
Is he seeing a counselor or something to help with this grief he's so overcome with?
Right. Someday he's going to turn into a real live boy. Here's what Scott Waguespack, 32nd Ward Alderman, told John Cass. It's in Cass's column today about Rahm's speech. Today was sort of a rehash of speeches past, a sort of Christmas story. But he didn't address why they sat on the video for so long. And given what he's done over the years, the way he's denied public information, his style of governing, I really don't see things changing until we change what happens on the 5th floor. Yeah, that seems to me pretty accurate. Right? The apology in general, without specifically accounting for why the city fought the release of the video every step of the way, why Rahm fights FOIA requests every step of the way, can't get his emails, can't get his text messages, don't know what's going on, likes to turn the cameras out, but never wants to have the cameras turned in on him. And frankly, after that speech yesterday, I just had one question, really.
What?
I just, if I was in the Chicago press corps, I would have just said, Mr. Mayor, listen to the speech. I just have one question. When are you and the family leaving for Cuba, and where are you staying?
Do you think he could leave now for Cuba? I mean, if he
permanently?
Oh my gosh! I mean, he's got to stop apologizing.
As one of our
he has got to stop.
Who suggests? Somebody said it was the Amish texter. Somebody suggested he's going to Cuba to defect. If only. Ron on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, you all. Good morning. You all understand who's he talking about? We, Amy.
Yeah.
Everybody that supported him and endorsed him. I called Bobby Rush's office, and there are people who host various talk shows like this. I'm reminding them, you own him. And Amy, I remember you thought it was a joke. Yeah, me and my girlfriend. So you know what, Amy? You're part of that week. Because to me, anybody that supported him and endorsed this lying piece of crap, okay, this is what you get. And lastly, Ed Burke, when he said that, as he recalled, the people voted for him to complete this term. Yeah, they also voted for Rob Blagojevich, too. And you know what? He ended up in jail, So, and I hope that's where Rob ends up. Not just out of office, in jail. But really, Amy, claim him. Amy, you have to claim him. That's your guy.
So, Ron, are you telling me you're not accepting Rom's apology?
Please. You know what? I'm just saying, Rom is garbage. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Ron. Mike in Berwyn.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. You guys have become my favorite show in the morning.
Thank you.
Started listening to you guys a couple of weeks ago. If all in likelihood that Emmanuel would resign, excuse me, and let's just say that video was shown last year, and by default, Chuy Garcia would have gotten in, we'd be no better off right now, even with him in office. Who is a likely candidate to be the mayor of this town?
Yeah,
in your opinion?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's a good point, Mike. Thanks for the call. I think you have some people that are looking at it. If this really would go the distance, we'll talk to LaShawn Ford, state rep, at the bottom of the hour, who introduced legislation at the state level to pass a recall protocol for the city of Chicago. Nice to see all those aldermen that are preening for the cameras now. They could do something. They could pass a recall ordinance.
Yeah, but but at the end of the day, Rahm Emanuel has to sign off on it.
They could override it if they're all so outraged, couldn't they?
Yeah, but who dares stand up to the Rahm file?
Yeah, in terms of candidates, I think there's a lot of people lying in wait.
If I hear Tony Preckwinkle,
no, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, maybe she could be would be like some kind of consensus candidate, something like that. I don't know. It's a special election, and we're a long, long way from that. But the fact that we're talking about it shows how weak Rahm is. Yeah. A special election would be interesting. I know one of the people that's being groomed to replace Rahm.
Brendan O'Reilly?
No. His name is Kurt Summers. He's the city treasurer. He's African-American. He's a toady for Michael Sachs at Grosvenor Capital. Michael Sachs is Rahm's one of his chief advisors. This is he's another, frankly, financial flim-flam man from the financial services sector, who on the order of like a Deval Patrick, on the order of a Kwame Raoul, another coward who's going to do the Obama mini-me routine. So that's one option. Bridget Gaynor, Cook County Commissioner. I think she would look at it. Those are a couple of names. And I think we should have somebody that has a center-right perspective to say these individuals, whichever Democrats come out of the woodwork, are all part of the same machine you are all decrying as it pertains to your schools, as it pertains to the safety on the streets, as it pertains to the interaction with police, as it pertains to the city's finances. So why would you give any Democrat in the city of Chicago another chance. I'd like to see somebody make that case if it does get to the point of a special election. Sherry on the South Shore. Hey, Sherry.
Hey, good morning. Good show, guys. Real quick, listening, you number one, your station has played more excerpts from his speeches than any other channel, and that's a good thing because listening to him this morning, I said to myself, if they condense all those news conferences in a 90-minute segment, forwarded over to the Academy Awards for the awards next April, he would win Actor of the Year hands down. The guy is good. Awesome.
Thanks for the call, Sherry. I don't know. I mean, I think I agree with you that he's acting. I don't agree with you that he's persuading anybody with his acting.
No, but can we play the moment, the triumphant moment when he was on the verge of tears?
Sure.
Oh, thanks.
So I asked them, tell me the one thing I need to know. And rather than tell me something, one young man asked me a simple question that gets to the core of what we're talking about. He said, do you think the police would ever treat you the way they treat me? And the answer is no. And that is wrong. Whoa. And that has to change in this city. That has to come to an end now. No citizen is a second-class citizen in the city of Chicago.
I thought how they wove in the musical accompaniment that was really nice. You didn't even see him. But the pianist came on stage, and then the Re-elect Rahm 2019 banner came down behind him. I thought it was a nice.
Я думаю, что каждый тоже изменился сегодня. And you can change. Вы можете измениться. Everybody can change. Каждый может измениться.
Ram Key.
No. Sorry.
John in Melrose Park.
Hey, good morning. I have a question regarding the narrative on this. Often these issues are won and lost by who controls the narrative. And it started with the police department, and now it's focused on Rahm. And my question is this. There's no police department in this country that can authorize a $5 million payment to settle anything. And why, the minute the Justice Department announced this civil rights investigation in the police department, why aren't there questions regarding it's not a co-investigation of City Hall and the police department?
Yeah.
Because it's not, and she's not looking at the Cook County State's Attorney's Office either.
John, it's a great question. It's a question that should continue to be asked. Why isn't Rahm and City Hall roped into this wide-ranging investigation? Because they should be.
You're just a bunch of low-income nobodies.
Election in November.
What? Again? This stupid country.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Dolly Parton's True Story is on tonight at 8 o'clock.
Wait, I got a good text. Where is it? Ann B. Davis's bowling ball.
Yes.
Ann B. Davis. Stand by. Hold on. Stand by. The problem is that the cops are treating others the way they'd like to treat Rahm.
Hey-oh. You're going to like your forecast today. It's going to be warm around here. Record-breaking heat, possibly. A high of 62 degrees if we're lucky. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, mild. A little bit cooler, a high of 53. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Good morning. On the Edens Expressway inbound, traffic is heavy from Toohey to the junction. 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. The Eisenhower still going Mannheim to Harlem. 38 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's fine. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57. 27 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Mission Ford 19. The only tollway delay is on the northbound Tri-State, the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
When you buy a new house, you don't buy the first one you see. When you sell your house, you don't choose the first real estate broker you hear about. You choose the agent backed by the most powerful brand in real estate, And that agent is Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of Remax Professionals. Ed doesn't need to offer gimmicks like promising to buy your home because he can't sell it or 24-hour listing agreements. What Ed does is offer the promise of hard work and an aggressive, innovative marketing plan to sell your home. The most compelling reason to call Remax Professionals is the best. Ed Lukasik Jr. has closed over 1,600 homes since 2008, giving him the knowledge and experience most agents can't obtain in their entire careers. The average real estate agent closes 7 homes a year. Get this, Ed sold 229 listings in just the past year alone. So make the right choice. Choose Remax Professionals to list your home. Get an in-person market analysis straight from Ed by calling this number, 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, Remax Professionals.
Too high. Your property taxes are too high. Illinois has the second highest property tax rate in the country, a burden that unfairly penalizes people like you. Why does Illinois have the second highest property tax rate in the country? Because elected officials spend too much money. Year after year, lawmakers promise to freeze the property tax rate. They make false promises at election time and fail to get the job done. The result? Property tax rates go up and up. It's time to force the politicians to keep their promise to voters. Join Americans for Prosperity in the fight to freeze property taxes. Go to afpil.org to start a tax freeze petition in your community. Go to afpil.org to put the brakes on runaway property taxes. If you're sick and tired of ever increasing property taxes, do something about it. Go to afpil.org, paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
When I started on this, I stopped my blood pressure and my cholesterol medicine. My blood pressure after a week since then has been normal, and my bad cholesterol dropped 27 points in 3 weeks, and my overall cholesterol dropped like 25 points. So I'm good. So I'm not taking anything.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Santa baby, slip a sable under the tree for me.
Don't look at me like that. I didn't look at you like that when you started singing your New Direction or One Direction song.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God. Hi. Today,
hi.
Is this thing on? We want to thank our many business benefactors who've signed up to help us feed the children this holiday season. Companies such as Tallgrass Restoration, Inspire Realty Partners, Dermatology, and Plastic Surgery Associates. They're taking part of the Business Benefactor Program. And what that is you make a one-time donation, $2,500. It's tax deductible. All of the money goes to feed the children. And then we give you 41-minute commercials that will air prime time right here on AM 560. The Answer. Who should they call, Dan, if they want to become part of this program?
They should call sales manager Michael Mann, who's had a big impact on Amy's life because he introduced you to Edward James Olmos. Played Castillo in Miami Vice, and then you guys made out. Not you and Michael Mann, you and Edward James Olmos. Yeah.
Horrible kisser.
So Michael Mann maybe play matchmaker for you. Otherwise, he can introduce you to the Business Benefactor Program if you call him at 847-871-1527. Again, 847-871-1527. Ask him about the Business Benefactor Program, and he'll get you rolled in. Or you just text the word FEED to 64636. That's our turnkey.pro text line. I almost fell into the show there, but it's the same text line, feed to 64636, and you'll be prompted to participate.
And do it quickly. Slots are filling up quickly. Do not wait. Michael Mann, call him, 847-871-1527, and we thank you in advance for your generosity. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
State Representative LaShawn Ford joins us to talk about the legislation he's introduced in Springfield to recall a certain mayor of Chicago.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello once again to Mike Scott.
Interesting political development. We'll flesh it out as the morning goes along. Donald Trump canceling his trip to Israel this morning. Again, the Associated Press is reporting that Trump says he'll postpone that trip until after he says he becomes president. Meantime, friends and family will say goodbye to one of the 14 killed last Wednesday in the massacre in San Bernardino, California. A funeral for 27-year-old Yvette Velasco will be held this afternoon. This morning, the president will sign a bill into law replacing the landmark No Child Left Behind bill, which critics called unworkable and overreaching. Forecasters say parts of the Pacific Northwest will get yet another wallop of rain today. Days of rain have led to mudslides, flooded rivers and streets, and have been blamed for at least 2 deaths. The new CEO of Volkswagen today pledging to continue to get to the bottom of the emissions scandal and root out all those responsible. The latest on the address from Fox's Simon Owen in London.
Volkswagen's chairman saying the company is relentlessly searching for those responsible for a scandal expected to cost the German carmaker tens of billions of dollars. Chairman Hans-Dieter Putsch saying 400 employees have had laptops and other devices seized for examination. 9 managers have been suspended. And the company saying to avoid a repeat, its cars will be road tested with third-party emissions verifications. VW sales have plunged in recent weeks. In the US in November, they were down 25% compared to November 2014. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
The federal government today plans to release a rule that requires commercial truck and bus drivers to electronically record their hours behind the wheel. It is an effort, they say, to enforce regulations to prevent fatigue. Drivers are only required now to keep logs of their driving on paper. Small operators and individual operators say it's simply an effort to try to get them to conform to federal regulations. An Aurora man has pleaded guilty to charges. He conspired to provide material support to ISIS. Jonas Edmonds entered that guilty plea before the federal judge on Wednesday. An Illinois state representative has introduced a plan that would allow for the recall of Chicago's mayor if passed. Democrat LaShawn Ford will describe that bill in detail with Dan and Amy in just a few minutes. Mayor Rahm Emanuel delivered an emotional address to Chicago City Hall on the crisis of trust in policing as the city grapples with fallout from a video showing a white officer shooting a black teen 16 times.
What happened on my watch, the innocent loss of the life of a young man and a systematic breakdown of a system that was supposed to safeguard the protection of life.
Mayor Emanuel was not the only target. Dozens showed up last night to a Chicago Police Board meeting calling for that board to step down. Chicago sports, NBA, Jimmy Butler had 36. Boston got the win over the Bulls, 105-100. The news, a service of SoundHound. You know that moment when a song comes on and you've just got to know what it is. Open the SoundHound app, tap the big orange button to get your answer. Along with the lyrics, related videos, and artist info, you can even sing or hum into it to discover that song that's stuck in your head. Download SoundHound from your app store now. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Fact! Approximately 60% of all residential properties in Cook County are overassessed and paying way too much in property taxes. Here's the good news. If you live anywhere in Cook County, Chicago, or the burbs, now there's a way to find out in 60 seconds or less if you're one of the 60% that's overpaying. IAppealPropertyTax.com will give you your estimated savings without cost or obligation. If you decide to appeal your taxes, IAppealPropertyTax.com handles the entire process for a modest flat fee depending on your actual tax savings. IAppealPropertyTax.com has an 85% success rate once the appeal is filed. And if your appeal isn't successful, it costs you zero. So if you're a Cook County property owner and even suspect your taxes are too high, visit IAppealPropertyTax.com. That's IAppealPropertyTax.com. Do it now. You've got nothing to lose and potentially a lot to save. IAppealPropertyTax.com.
Take a quick look in the mirror. See those bags under your eyes? Imagine them gone. Well, guess what? You can get rid of those bags and puffiness under your eyes just in time for the holiday season. Introducing GenuCell Plant Stem Cell Therapy for bags and puffiness under the eyes. Rose from New Jersey wrote, I felt the bags under my eyes firm up and the skin was glowing. Your product helped me to reduce puffiness quickly. In a couple of weeks, I stopped using concealer because of the improvement. And with its instant effects, you'll see results in the first 12 hours guaranteed or your money back. Order Genucel now this holiday season. You also get the legendary Esotique face cream as a free gift. 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. Call now, and express holiday shipping is also free. 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
For more than 40 years, Steel has built outdoor power equipment here in America and sold its products to professionals and homeowners through servicing Steel dealers. Built in America, believing in America. That's Steel Strong.
Steel strong, running grow number one. Steel strong, yeah, I'm feeling.
A majority of Steel products are built in the United States from domestic and foreign parts and components.
Steel strong.
Find a dealer near you at steeldealers.com.
It's sad but true. 1960s radicals are now your children's school teachers. Worried? Send your child to Young America's Foundation's high school conference at the Reagan Ranch. Here, your child will meet top conservative leaders and students and enjoy a life-changing tour of President Ronald Reagan's ranch. Young America's Foundation is the leading organization teaching young people about your values. Reaching young people was so important to Ronald Reagan.
We've got to do a better job of getting across that America is freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of enterprise, and freedom is special and rare. And children, if your parents haven't been teaching you what it means to be an American, let them know and nail them on it.
So what are you waiting for? Send your son or daughter to Young America's Foundation's high school conference at the Reagan Ranch. To learn more, please visit ReaganRanchConference.org. A young person in your life will thank you. Again, that's ReaganRanchConference.org. But you must act now. Seats go fast.
It is 6:38 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. A quick look at the roads with Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Eisenhower jammed. Mannheim to Harlem with a crash on the right shoulder. 50 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 35. The Edens, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 19. The Kennedy, 27 either way between O'Hare and downtown. Stevenson, 43 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 25 minutes. 95th to the Loop. That's traffic. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com weather center. Clouds will break. Windier in the midday. A high near 59. Temperatures could hit near 60 in the far south and western suburbs. And a low of 40 overnight. 43 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the New American Funding Show, walking you through stress-free mortgage options. Sunday afternoons at 1 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. My question is, when does the Joffrey Ballet announce a limited run of Tiny Dancer's Speech, a special recurring performance from ROM, underwritten by Grosvenor Capital?
Good idea.
Yeah, I think that's possible. ROM spent a lot of time yesterday, 37 minutes, blaming the cops, blaming guns. By the way, gun homicides per 100,000 has been cut in half in the last 20 years, while gun ownership per person has increased by 1.5 times during the same period. And so maybe it's just like I said before, maybe it's a political leadership problem in Chicago, not a problem of law-abiding residents of Chicago having the means to protect themselves. I don't know. But I do know that there's a lot of dissatisfaction with Rahm, and I don't think his performance yesterday is going to alter that very much.
And a lot of people want to know how we can force Rahm out of office.
Right.
And a movement is underway.
Yes, a movement is underway. State Representative LaShawn Ford from the west side and into the west suburbs, that's his district, has introduced legislation in Springfield to provide for the recall of a certain mayor of Chicago. How would that work? Well, why don't we ask Representative LaShawn Ford, who joins us now. LaShawn, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan and Amy.
And so, so tell us what the legislation you sponsored would do.
Well, I have to say it will give the people a tool to have the ability to recall the mayor of the city of Chicago. And I have to thank the co-sponsor, the chief co-sponsor, Mary Flowers, who's so brave to also join in this fight.
Well, but what's the process? How would people, if this was passed, how would it work?
If this should pass and it's signed, then what happens? Then there will have to be an organization that would sign on as the lead of the movement, and they would have to get 88,000, 90,000 signatures of registered voters that live in the city of Chicago, and 2 aldermen to sign on to the proposal to be filed with the Board of Elections. At that point, then, if that happens, then you get a recall election where the mayor would have to suppress the majority of the people in the city from voting for the recall measure. If 51% plus vote to recall the mayor, he would immediately be removed from office, and a special election will be held for a new mayor.
This is kind of like modeled after the California statute that where Gray Davis was recalled and there was a special election.
Exactly.
All right,
yes.
I'm leaving now. I'm going to go circulate petitions. I'll see you guys later.
LaShawn, why did you feel the need to do this? What was the final straw for you personally? Because haven't you supported him in the past?
I've tried to support this mayor in every way possible, telling him, I want to help you be successful, but I don't think the mayor wants help from people like me. I'm just from the west side of Chicago where we don't have a traditional high school, and all I want to talk about is making sure that we get a high school on the west side, that we get jobs on the west side, that our streets are treated like other streets in the city. So I don't think he wants to be my friend, and I've tried. To be his friend. I tried to be the police superintendent friend, and I've written them letters telling them that they need to work with the police department. They need to come out and say exactly what the rules and consequences are for their police department if they violate a person's freedom, if there's police misconduct. As soon as the commissioner of the football, Roger Goodell, released his statement about the punishment for football players if they broke the rules, I sent a letter right away to Police Superintendent McCarthy and said, you know what, if the police, if the person that's running the football league, NFL, could release the consequences for his players, I'm sure you could release consequences publicly for police. And that sets the tone for that department.
So did you buy Rahm's act of contrition yesterday?
I think that it was horrible because, if that was real, then he should not be the mayor of this city because he should not be surprised. He shouldn't be surprised by what's going on in the city. If he is, then that's the problem.
But don't you think it was a slap in the face to Chicago police officers?
It was a slap in the face to Chicago police officers and every taxpayer in this city.
Comprehensive slap.
Yes, it was. And to think that we're going to sit back and allow him to continue to say that I own it. We've heard that before.
Yeah.
If he says that one more time.
Yeah.
Right.
Hashtag I own it.
And what did he say he's sorry for? He just said, and I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry for what?
So let me ask you this. This is a political question. Now, you're a state representative in Springfield in the super majority in the House. However, this has to really get support of House Speaker Mike Madigan and Senate President John Cullerton if it has a chance to go to the governor's desk for signature. So give us the political lay of the land on there. If you talk to Madigan and Cullerton legislative leaders, what kind of chance does this have to actually be passed into law?
Well, I got to tell you, this is 150 years of our anniversary for the 13th Amendment. That happened. We're celebrating 60 years of Rosa Parks and the bus movement. That happened. And the way Speaker Madigan runs the House, it's ran by if the will of the people is loud enough, and if they descend on Springfield, if they continue to push for this bill to pass, the Speaker listens, whether people believe it or not. And what we know about the Speaker is that there are a lot of bills that come up. There are a lot of people that say they want things to happen, and it's here today, gone tomorrow.
But have you?
This issue cannot.
But have you spoken to the Speaker about this?
Not at all. I need to make sure that the people are prepared to continue this push. The people have asked for this recall. They've asked for this sort of democracy, and there's no need to speak to the Speaker right now. When we are prepared, the Speaker will hear from not just me, but he will hear from all of the people that support this. The Speaker knows very well that the bill was filed. I didn't get approval from him to file it. I don't know if he supports it, but he supports members and their initiatives to stand up for their community.
But have you, I know it's a Democratic-dominated state house. Have you made phone calls? Do you know if anyone's going to side with you on this?
Well, as I said, State Rep. Mary Flowers is there, and, this is something that people are going to have to decide on their own, and this is something that their constituents are going to have to ask their members to support if this is what they want. I represent one district, and I'll do my best to work with my colleagues to let them see exactly why I feel that this bill should pass, but I can't vote for them.
We're talking to State Representative LaShawn Ford. He represents west side of Chicago into the west burbs, filed legislation to provide for a recall of the Chicago mayor, who happens to be, at this point in time, Rahm Emanuel. And I guess the question, LaShawn, another question, political question, is a lot of politicians preening for the cameras right now, a lot of righteous indignation. Why doesn't the city council act? They could pass an ordinance. Why is it just you and Mary Flowers at this point? I'm seeing marches on the streets. I'm hearing from members of the Black Caucus and the city council. We'll talk to Alderman Moore in the 7 o'clock hour, hearing from Black Caucus members and minority members and, frankly, Republicans in the House and the Senate. So why don't we see a groundswell to get this done straight away?
Well, I think you will if the people in Chicago, all the unemployed people that's not able to go to work today because they've been unemployed so long, go out there with the spirit of fighting. If that continues in this city, the city council will move toward this. They still have to govern with this mayor. They still have to work with him. So it's not as easy for the members of the city council to throw him under the bus right now until they know that they have this groundswell of support. So I think that if the people truly want a recall, I know that the Black Caucus aldermen and the entire city council would give the people what they want because it's simple. It's a democracy. It's not a personal attack on anyone. It's extending democracy to people. And so I don't think anyone would put the mayor over the voters. But the voters have to prove that this is something that they really believe in and they're not going to let up, and we're going to keep fighting and keep pushing.
All right. State Representative LaShawn Ford, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan and Amy.
All right. Well, it's interesting.
Do you think there'll be any retaliation against him, though, politically, for even authoring this bill?
So bring it. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I think LaShawn's right, but I also think it's sad that he's right. That the leadership, the elected officials and city council and state government, you have to pressure them to do the right thing. You have to pressure them to support it because they have no capacity for independent judgment. And I also think LaShawn, I like LaShawn, but I think he's being, I don't want to say naive. I just think that the idea that Mike Madigan doesn't have to weigh in on this and that Mike Madigan lets his members do what they want as long as it's coming from some sense of the community,
That's not the impression I'm getting.
There's about a 30-year record that largely suggests otherwise, but okay. At least LaShawn has broken the seal, and he's putting it on people now. They got to make a choice, so that's progress. Randy and Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. I have to admit, I don't have a lick of sympathy for Chicago or Illinois in general, because they have voted this way. They have voted these forever. And to hear a Democrat get on and talk about what he's going to do, hey, how about let's elect people that are responsible, that believe that people should be held accountable? Why don't we have a groundswell for Corey Brooks and let him, a man like that, become the mayor of Chicago? We got to get people that believe that every individual is accountable top to bottom. And Chicago has not done this for 50, 60 years. So I can't have any sympathy whatsoever for them.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Randy.
I own that.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, clouds becoming windy, some sunshine, temperature near the record high of 62 degrees, last set in 1879. A little trivia there for you. And then tomorrow, Friday, mostly cloudy, mild, a high of 53. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, the Tri-State Tollway southbound has delays from 176 to 60 Town Line, where there's a pickup truck which lost a wheel. The right center lane is blocked. Northbound Tri-State delays are in pockets from 95th to LaGrange Road. From the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Just had a crash reported on the eastbound Adams Tollway at the Fox River Bridge, and that has a left lane closed. Inbound Eisenhower, a crash in Harlem has cleared, but it is 56 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 37, where there's a crash at Harlem in the right lane. Eden's 29 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose to Kennedy. 36 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. There's a crash there now at Fullerton. That has the left lane closed. Stevenson, 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. On the Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Now it's time for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report, brought to you by the Mutual Fund Store.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Investors hope to end a three-day slide on Wall Street. Economic reports, corporate developments, and the crude market in focus. Those stories next.
This report is brought to you by Bank of America. According to a Bank of America USA Today report, millennials are confident in their ability to manage their finances, but 41% are chronically stressed about money. Most young adults say financial stress affects their emotional well-being, and nearly half say it impacts their personal relationships. Bank of America has partnered with nonprofit Khan Academy to offer BetterMoneyHabits.com, a free resource aimed at helping people build their financial know-how. The site provides practical tools and information on a range of personal finance topics and is available for anyone to use. Andrew Plepler, Corporate Social Responsibility Leader, Bank of America.
Even though millennials are confident about money and focused on their finances, they're still experiencing financial stress. That's partly due to factors out of their control, a shift in global economy, a challenging job market, and student debt. Amid the uncertainty, it's important to focus on things they can control, such as their level of financial knowledge and awareness.
For more information, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
We'll see whether economic reports and corporate developments rekindle some buying in the market today. Wall Street investors reacting to reports on weekly jobless claims, import and export prices, and the government's quarterly report on services. Investors in currency and debt markets also considering reports on economic activity in Europe and the Bank of England's announcement on monetary policy and interest rates. We'll see whether the energy market reacts to those reports, as well as the latest reading on natural gas supplies. The crude oil market yesterday ended lower for a fourth straight day. OPEC's decision to maintain current oil production targets hanging over the market. January crude oil down 7% so far this week, trading near $37 a barrel. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
So, I'm retiring today.
Freedom!
I hate goodbyes, so I've hired singers to follow me around and bid my coworkers farewell.
It's John's last day.
Okay, let's get started. Here's Tom.
Your pranks were amazing, despite what HR says.
Next, Susan.
Your homemade cookies blew his mind and diet.
Finally, Dave.
You never judged him for his popcorn burning.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you guys.
Ready to give your swan song at work? The Mutual Fund Store can help.
We'll sit down with you one-on-one to talk about your goals. Then we'll put a plan in place to help get you on track. Finally, we'll keep a close eye on your account to make sure you stay on track. Discover how within reach your retirement could be for you with a free portfolio review and consultation.
Hi, I'm Matt Personette with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
This Christmas, give the people on your list the gift of holiday happiness, rich chocolatey brownies from Vermont Brownie Company. Featuring decadent flavors like dark chocolate with a touch of sea salt, buttery maple toffee, and walnut chunk. They're ridiculously good. Vermont Brownie is so extraordinary. Wow. Let's go on. Surprise and delight your loved ones with some of the best brownies they'll ever taste. They're baked using farm fresh ingredients. That's pure bliss in every bite. To order and save 10%, use code 2000. Your gift comes specially packaged with a free personalized gift card. What are you waiting for? To give a sweet gift for under $20, use promo code 2000 at checkout at vermontbrownie.com. That code again, 2000, to save 10% at vermontbrownie.com. Christmas delivery guaranteed. Hurry, because this offer ends soon.
Imagine what you would do if your business had a surplus of utility savings. More than 30% of your building's annual energy use comes from your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical service provider, understands that you have better things to do with your money. There are new energy incentives offered by Chicagoland's largest utility provider that could help your business save hundreds, even thousands of dollars every month in utility costs. As a preferred partner, Air Comfort works closely with your business. They will identify the opportunities to reduce energy usage, select, purchase, and install equipment, and even help you complete and submit your incentive paperwork. Start saving on your utilities by calling now for your free consultation at 708-345-1900. That's 708-345-1900 or online at aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
We're trying to make a Merry Christmas for needy children and families in and around the Chicago area. We've teamed up with Feed the Children again to hopefully raise raise a lot of money to feed 18,000 children this holiday season.
Right. There's two ways that you can contribute to support the effort. Rely on your generosity, as we have in past years, to reach our goal and help us spread some cheer and provide for those truly in need during the holidays. There's two ways. The first way, you can make contributions any amount to Feed the Children by calling 866-435-2248, or you can visit 560answer.com, our website, and search for the keyword feed. That's one way to do it. The other way, Amy?
Yes, is the Business Benefactor Program.
Easy for you to say.
Yes, BBP. $2,500 one-time donation. It's tax deductible. All of the money goes to Feed the Children. Then we will give you 40 60-second commercials that are going to run right here on AM 560, The Answer. Call sales manager Michael Mann right now. Don't wait any longer. Don't drag your heels any longer. You've got to do this today. Call 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527.
Coming up, after we check the headlines with Mike Scott, we have Catherine Herridge, Chief Intelligence Correspondent for Fox News, with the latest on the San Bernardino terrorists.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an Aurora man pleads guilty to planning a terror attack. Mayor Emanuel apologizing as a state rep proposes a bill to recall the Chicago mayor. Speaker Mike Madigan suggests an income tax increase again, and the Celtics hand the Bulls their third straight loss. Highs near 62 later this afternoon, and WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump won't be going to Israel, canceling a trip later this month after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he disagrees with Trump's call for a temporary ban on Muslims coming to America.
I didn't want to put him under pressure, number one. I also did it because I'm in the midst of a very powerful campaign that's going very well.
The Republican presidential frontrunner did get a boost in the latest Fox poll in South Carolina. Trump's at 35%, 20 points ahead of any of his rivals, and his support increased after that call for a ban Trump says would only end
when people can be properly vetted They have to be vetted. We have people coming into this country. We have no idea who they are.
Now, the first funerals today in the San Bernardino massacre. Yvette Velasco was among 14 killed. A former neighbor of gunman Syed Farouk is expected to face charges for supplying the weapons used. The Bo Bergdahl prisoner swap that set 5 Taliban detainees free is under more scrutiny. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
A new report from the Republican-led House Armed Services Committee claims the Obama administration misled Congress about its work to release the members of the Taliban in exchange for U.S. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. The 98-page report is the outcome of a probe launched after lawmakers expressed outrage that the White House had not given them 30 days' notice about transferring the detainees out of Guantanamo Bay, as required by law. Bergdahl is charged with desertion and misbehavior before the enemy, could spend life in prison. Dave.
Rachel, another former Guantanamo prisoner is back with al-Qaeda. Ibrahim al-Kozi appears in a new video from the terror group in Yemen as one of its leaders. Kozi pleaded guilty to terror charges in 2010, then was released to Sudan 3 years ago. Robert Deere called himself a warrior for the babies. The man accused of killing 3, attacking a Colorado abortion clinic, was very vocal in court.
There's a lot more to this than me to go silently into the grave.
He even declared himself guilty.
Planned Parenthood and my lawyer are in cahoots to shut me up because they don't want the truth out.
Deere was formerly charged with murder and other crimes. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies this morning, 44 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An Aurora man has pled guilty to charges he conspired to provide material support to ISIS. Jonas Edmonds entered that plea before a federal judge Wednesday. He is accused, along with his cousin Hassan Edmonds, of planning an attack on an Illinois National Guard base in Joliet with assault rifles and grenades. Prosecutors say the man hoped to kill as many as 150. An Illinois state representative has introduced a plan that would allow for the recall of Chicago's mayor. Democrat Representative LaShawn Ford filed that legislation Wednesday, outlining a lengthy process for a city special election. Ford tells AM 560 this morning that people have lost confidence with Mayor Rahm Emanuel. The mayor delivered an address Wednesday to the city council on the crisis of trust facing city policing.
I watched the innocent loss of the life of a young man and a systematic breakdown of a system that was supposed to safeguard the protection of life.
Protesters demanded Emanuel step down or resign, but he's not the only city official protesters are targeting for resignations. Dozens showed up last night to the Chicago Police Board meeting. Demonstrators urging that panel to step down in the wake of the shooting deaths of Rekia Boyd, Laquan McDonald, and Ronald Johnson. Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan says it's time for the state income tax to rise again to at least 5%. Governor Bruce Rauner, though, according to Senate Minority Leader Christine Radonio, should be able to make basic changes to make Illinois businesses more competitive before there is any talk of a tax hike. 2 teens and a boy are due in court following a deadly shooting more than a year ago on the southwest side. Jacob Morales and another boy are charged in the death in 2014 of Oscar Garcia. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler had 36, Pau Gasol a double-double, but Boston came away with a win, 105-100 last night over the Bulls. College hoops, DePaul beat Drake, and the Fighting Illini winners over Yale. The news service of LeadSafe America. Do you live in an historic home? Renovating? Your children could be at risk. It takes more than just microscopic amounts of lead dust to poison a child. Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, nothing frustrates me more than liberal hypocrisy. Take our food, for example. You know, the left claims to care about the poor and the environment, but guess what? They're waging a silent war against America's farmers that is making our food supply more costly and less sustainable. America's family farmers are producing more food using less land and fewer resources than ever before. Now, they should be cheered, but instead, radical groups are working with government bureaucrats to crack down on our farmers and limit the tools and technology that they're allowed to use. Now, the result is higher food costs for you, the American consumer, and low-income families, they're hit the hardest. Now, thankfully, someone is fighting back. Protect the Harvest is a national coalition working to defend modern American agriculture. You can check them out at protecttheharvest.com and follow them on Facebook to get the very latest news and see how you can help. Don't let radical activists control your family's food choices. Visit protecttheharvest.com today.
Are you embarrassed by your tired old blinds? When you think about replacing them, do you feel overwhelmed? Then go to Blinds.com, the world's #1 online blind store. There's a huge selection right at your fingertips. You can watch helpful videos or get a free design consultation. And they have brand new offers each week. So go to Blinds.com, replace those old blinds, and hold your head up high, America. Go to Blinds.com or call 888-4BLINDS. That's 888-4-BLINDS. Call or go to Blinds.com today.
Do you have a retirement account? Is it likely to go up 60% or down 60%? Wake up. Low interest rates support the market, and it won't last forever. It's time to hedge with solid gold. You will regret not doing so in the next market crash. Do it right. Don't pay a setup and storage fee. Discover how. Call Goldworth. Request the IRA guide free. Call 800-257-GOLD. 800-257-GOLD. Visit goldworth.com.
7:06 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. Tri-State Tollway southbound. It's stop and go from 137 to 60, where the right center lane is blocked with a pickup truck which lost a wheel. Northbound Tri-State, slow 95th to Archer from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway for delay 31 to the Fox River Bridge. Reagan Tollway still good. Veterans Memorial jammed up from 75th to the Reagan Tollway and heavy approaching Roosevelt. Edens, 29 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown after a crash at Fullerton, outbound 31 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 37 minutes. The Stevenson, 52 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 25 minutes. 95th to downtown. And traffic is a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Increasingly windy today with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Otherwise, clouds will give way to some sun with a high 57. Breezy with increasing clouds tonight, low of 38. Then a mostly cloudy day tomorrow, high 55. A shower in spots at night, low 45. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
46 at O'Hare, 49 along the lakefront. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The mayor is trying desperately to change the conversation away from the past 13 months to his new effort to end racism and officer misconduct in the Chicago Police Department.
But if we're also going to begin the healing process, the first step in that journey is my step, and I'm sorry.
Rome must go! Rome must go! Rome must go! Rome must go!
Protesters say they will march well into the night, planning yet another protest within the hour.
The backlash is growing around the world tonight over Donald Trump's plan to ban Muslims from entering the U.S., at least temporarily.
I'm the least racist person that you have ever met. I am the least racist person.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. What is up? Certainly not Rom's approval numbers, but we'll get to that at the bottom of the hour.
Hey-o.
Thank you very much.
They're at 18 right now, right?
14 and dropping.
Oh, it's going to...
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
It's even worse than we thought.
But we have some new information this morning about the San Bernardino terrorists. Charges expected against one Enrique Marquez.
Finally.
He was the individual that bought the AR-15s, ostensibly for the two terrorists that were killed, that murdered 14 people and injured another 21 in San Bernardino. And we also have questions that are still pending about other relatives and well as other plotters in the attack. For information on this front and others related to our national security, we're now joined by the best in the business. She is Catherine Herridge, Chief Intelligence Correspondent for Fox News. Catherine, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, as always.
And so the charges against Marquez are forthcoming, Fox News reporting. What about particularly the mother, based on the material that has been found in her possession that seems to indicate she had to know what was afoot?
We were first to report earlier this week about this loan that Saeed Farouk took out with one of these online lenders, Prosper, and he had $28,500 deposited to his account. What struck me about the transactions was this systematic transfer of $5,000 apiece to the mother, totaling $15,000 in the 10 days leading up to the attack. Now, this was a significant amount of money for him, earning $53,000 a year. And based on our reporting, she had a very difficult divorce from the father, and it was only finalized after 9 years in April. And there were a lot of irregularities in the paperwork as well, saying she only lived with the son and no reference to Tashfeen Malik, the wife, who was heavily pregnant. So it's hard to imagine that they were making the bombs, 19, and she received $15,000 into her account in, very quick succession, and did not understand that something was going on. In addition to the fact we believe that she traveled over to the wedding. Remember there was the first wedding in Saudi Arabia before she came to the United States, that she also traveled to that. So, again, all of this goes to the idea that there was significant premeditation and perhaps even foreknowledge on behalf of the mother.
And does she have any association with any terrorist groups overseas?
We don't have a lot of detail on that at this point. But what jumps out of me, based on working in this area now for 15 years, is these very deep family connections that at least seems to me on the surface, were exploited by a terrorist group. You led in to the segment talking about Enrique Marquez. This is a friend who provided rifles to the couple. He may face charges. He is married to a woman who was a sister of Saeed Farouk's older brother. And both of these women came over, from what I can see, as sort of Russian, I don't want to say mail order brides, but there's something not quite right about this situation as well. And it's often the case that you see sort of a close-knit group, sometimes family members working together, some knowing, some unwittingly, in these plots.
And what about Farouk's father in terms of being a target of the investigation? He seemed to indicate in some statements I read that were attributed to him that he had some knowledge that his son was radicalized, but he tried to assuage the radicalization by comforting him with the knowledge that Israel won't exist in 2 years. That seems to be somebody that's not helping the situation.
Right. Well, I would go to what the FBI, this testimony yesterday by the FBI director here in Washington was really in many ways groundbreaking testimony, because a very senior law enforcement officer went on the record and really laid out a handful of key points on this investigation. And what's great about that is we can sort of move away from what I would call sort of the secret squirrel sourcing that you see in these stories, right? So he says, look, these two were well on the path to radicalization, or were in fact radicalized before they even met online, okay? So we're talking about individuals who were discussing jihad and martyrdom more than 2 years before the attack. It was not a situation where Tashfeen Malik came to the United States and radicalized this guy. They were sort of star-crossed jihadi lovers, if you will, right?
Yeah.
They meet, they come, it becomes very reinforcing their extreme views. Pardon me, and then they launch the attack. The question, which you have raised and the FBI director testified to yesterday, he said there were certainly signs that were publicly known that should have prompted individuals to contact the authorities. And I think on its face, this is a very veiled reference to the family members, and in particular, the father,
Catherine,
right?
do you think that their marriage could have been arranged by a terror group?
Well, this is a really intriguing idea, and it was raised at the hearing by Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, whether somehow ISIS or Al Qaeda or an operative played matchmaker for these two. And interestingly enough, the FBI director did not dismiss it. He said, "We are trying to understand how it was that these two individuals came together." I know everyone's talking about ISIS. My gut on this story is that they were sympathizers and sort of cheerleaders for ISIS. But I go back to the fact that these pipe bombs really had the signature of Al Qaeda and their Inspire magazine, and it really makes me wonder whether she was like the AQ Al Qaeda piece of this operation, and that they were inspired to do something by ISIS. And just as a final point, because I know we're running out of time, when you look at this loan on November 18th that goes into his account, it probably took on average 3 days for an online loan. I mean, it's very quick. So you start working back on the calendar, that takes you to November 15th, and you can't look at that calendar date and not realize it's coming 2 days after Paris. Right? You can't see these decisions in a vacuum. So this is in my mind as well as to what prompted them to act in a very, in a very sort of sudden manner, because there was a larger target. I don't think we know what that is yet. I wonder whether it was the air base in California, which is home to one of the drone Reaper squads, or whether it may have been a school that's now in the news. But there was another target they had, but that plot was somehow derailed, and they went more quickly for this county board. But the bottom line is that they were radicalized more than 2 years before this attack, and the money trail shows that this was not some simple argument at a county board. I mean, it just was not that at all.
Well, it's so interesting because it's very much like Russian sleeper agents. You're talking about the two being arranged together. They're kind of living their life, working for county government for years, but they're plotting, waiting for their moment. And we have these other stories, too, like this story out of Minnesota where you've got a 10th terrorism suspect that's been arrested, a bunch of
Shabab.
Yeah, a bunch of guys there that were conspiring to travel to Syria and join the fight with ISIS. 3 have already pled guilty.
I have not been able to confirm this myself, but there's some good reporting out of one of the TV stations in Minnesota about a recruiter in Somalia who was recently either picked up or turned themselves in.
Right.
And they say there may have been a link to the San Bernardino shooters, kind of that inspirational, egging them on in the same way we saw this group in Somalia egging on those shooters in Garland, Texas. You probably recall that there was that sort of flash social media traffic from these guys in Somalia almost in real time to that attempt to take out that Prophet Muhammad cartoon drawing contest.
And you mentioned Garland, Texas, and that in San Bernardino, the FBI says that they had secret messages that they're trying to encrypt. How are these guys communicating?
The FBI director testified that in the Garland, Texas shooting in May, those were the two guys, Elton Simpson and Nadir Sufi, who tried to take out the cartoon drawing contest but were stopped by that security guard. There were 109 messages that were sent that were encrypted, and Director Comey testified that even to this day, nobody has been able to unlock them, not the FBI, not even the company that provided the encryption service. He did not testify, at least to what I heard, how the couple in San Bernardino were communicating with one another. What we do know through our reporting is that they tried to destroy all of their communications and emails prior to the attack. So it says to me that they were operating more in the open, which is the other point I would make. Based on the FBI director's testimony, 2 things failed, and it's the FBI is not perfect, and neither is the intelligence community. But the screening process for the fiancé clearly failed, and also the FBI's ability to pick up this guy who was radicalized for at least 2 years inside the United States. This was not picked up either.
Now, before we let you go, I wanted to get your sense, perhaps from context you have on the Hill, of the response that a legislation sponsored by Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont is getting that would essentially, one interpretation, essentially provide constitutional rights, non-discrimination rights to non-U.S. citizens. This is in response to what Trump has said, of course.
Right. The thing that strikes me about the activity on the Hill this week is that the head of the House Homeland Security Committee said that he had been told by the head of the intelligence community, this is the DNI, James Clapper, that they already had intelligence that ISIS in Syria was trying to use the refugee stream to get people into the United States. This was disputed by the White House, but now they've released part of the letter. This is not in dispute. I mean, this is a piece of intelligence, and this is the same pattern that they saw in Europe with the attack in France. So I know this is a very political issue, but it's important to look at what the data is telling you and to not get into this cycle of being in denial about the facts on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Because we've seen this before, and we've seen the consequences of that.
And it's also a reminder that when bad guys say they're going to do something, you should err on the side of believing them, perhaps.
These groups, unfortunately, have a track record of doing what they say they're going to do. So you're quite right on that.
Catherine Harris, Chief Intelligence Correspondent for Fox News. Catherine, thanks always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, some clouds, some sunshine by the afternoon. It's going to be windy out there, and it's going to be warm. We could have record warmth for this time of year, a high, if we're lucky, of 62 degrees. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy and mild, a high in the mid-50s. Let's get the travel times. Are they mild, Jim Telemonte?
Not really, Amy. The inbound Kennedy is pretty heavy after a crash at Fullerton. It is 56 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 24 from Montrose, 18 of the Express. Outbound 34 minutes downtown to the airport. The Edens, 30 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Eisenhower, an hour from Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 43 minutes. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. But farther south, northbound 55 has delays approaching Weber after a crash. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 17. There's a stall at 83rd. Tri-State southbound, it's jammed from 120 to 60, with the stall having moved to the right shoulder. Northbound delays are in pockets from 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, northbound Veterans Memorial. Stop and go Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, with milder delays farther north. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
If you have problems with snoring, headaches, neck pain, if you toss and turn at night, if you have allergies, then you should get a pillow from MyPillow. Do what Sam did.
No tossing and no turning during the night. That really helped me get through a good night's sleep, because I've got some bad allergies, and the pillows I've used before have not helped them, but the MyPillow really did. I could see a difference there, which, in turn, stopped the tossing and turning at night.
Plus, MyPillow is washable, and it keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, American-made. And for the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer and 60-day money-back guarantee, simply visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Please use the promo code AMY. Do it now. This offer is for a limited time. 2 pillows for the price of one, plus that 60-day money-back guarantee. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
What if you could get the very best food from all around the country with the guaranteed lowest prices? Oh, and what if it's all shipped directly to your door absolutely free? Well, rejoice, food lovers. DirectEats.com is here. Direct Eats gives every consumer the freedom to find the best food at the best prices based on their diet, taste, or needs. That's because at DirectEats.com, the whole country is your supermarket. There's no membership fee, so give it a try. Just go to DirectEats.com and place your order today. DirectEats.com is the largest online natural and organic superstore. From locally made barbecue sauces to an array of nut-free, paleo, gluten-free, or anything and everything in between. The options go on and on. At Direct Eats, they have over 20,000 food products at the guaranteed lowest prices, and they ship them absolutely free to your door. There's no membership fee, so why not get started on your next food adventure? Stop by DirectEats.com today. That's DirectEats.com.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
There were times I was finding myself almost falling asleep at the wheel, that I had to pull over. That's the first thing I noticed, that hasn't happened since I've been taking Balance of Nature. I'm in sales, so I do a lot of walking during the day that would tire me out. I'm not as fatigued. I feel good.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Have you done your Christmas shopping yet?
I have not. No.
Do you hand out gifts?
I do. I get my checkbook out and I put checks in envelopes and then I hand them out.
Well, you have nephews, right?
Yeah.
2 nephews?
2 nephews.
How old are they? Oh boy. Oh, tough questions.
I thought we were talking about that as friends in confidence. I don't appreciate you talking about my family in public.
Okay, Rob. Uncle Dan whipping out the checkbook for Christmas.
I have Fat Brain Toys, too. I got
yes.
Fat Brain Toys.
Well, we here at AM 560 have partnered up with Feed the Children once again. This year, our goal is to feed 18,000 children in and around the Chicagoland area this year. We're asking for a one-time donation of $76. You can make that donation. That will help feed, by the way, 16 hungry children this holiday season. Call 866-435-2248. It just takes a few minutes to help so many. 866-435-2248.
And each family receives a 25-pound box. What's in the box?
Oh, wait, did you say what's in the box?
What's in the box? Perhaps a head of lettuce. But I know, in addition to that, what's in the box are non-perishable items like canned goods, peanut butter, pasta, and cereals. The box supplements the food intake for a family of 4 for 1 week. They also receive a 10-pound box of essentials like toiletries, cleaning supplies, and the like. So Amy told you one way you can get involved if you're feeling generous this holiday season, trying to help friends in need. Another way is through our business benefactor program. With this program, any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children receives 40 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday during prime broadcasting hours, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves at AM 560 The Answer. All you do to get involved is call our sales manager, Michael Mann, at 847-871-1527, or you can just text the word FEED to our turnkey.pro text line of 64636, and you'll be prompted to participate.
So if you're a small business owner, if you do the marketing for your company, you're going to want to be a part of this business benefactor program. Again, just a one-time donation. We will give you, as a way of saying thank you, 60 one-minute commercials. And Dan could voice the commercials.
40 one-minute commercials.
Yes. And Dan or I could voice your commercials if you'd like. And you'll be helping the needy as well as helping your business get noticed, take your business to the next level, expand your customer base. You're going to want to join the list of others who have signed up already, including North States Steel, Franciscan Outreach, Heartstrings, I'm wearing their locket right now, and Tall Grass Restoration, just to name a few. So call Michael Mann right now. Do it sooner rather than later. Today's a perfect day to do it. 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527.
At my house, I have Xbox.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Too high.
Your property taxes are too high. Illinois has the second highest property tax rate in the country, a burden that unfairly penalizes people like you. Why does Illinois have the second highest property tax rate in the country? Because elected officials spend too much money. Year after year, lawmakers promise to freeze the property tax rate. They make false promises at election time and fail to get the job done. The result? Property tax rates go up and up. It's time to force the politicians to keep their promise to voters. Join Americans for Prosperity in the fight to freeze property taxes. Go to afpil.org to start a tax freeze petition in your community. Go to afpil.org to put the brakes on runaway property taxes. If you're sick and tired of ever-increasing property taxes, do something about it. Go to afpil.org, paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Gentlemen, the holidays are now upon us. Do you want to give the gift that keeps on giving? Of course you do. How about giving yourself a healthier life and more energy to do the things you want to do with family and friends? If you've been feeling like a grumpy old man lately, it's time to get your testosterone level checked at Low T Center. I did. It's quick, easy, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results in minutes. Plus, their services are covered by most health insurance. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy and can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. Low T Center even has convenient and flexible hours, so give yourself the gift that keeps on giving this December. Call Low T Center now and tell them Dan Prof sent you. Call today, 630-409-4305. That number again, 630-409-4305, or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, Mayor Emanuel cries and did something he normally doesn't do, and that's apologize, and local aldermen react coming up. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, clouds and 46 degrees. We're tracking a developing story this morning in Geneva where Swiss security officials say they are actively searching for suspects connected with the November 13 terror attacks in Paris. Donald Trump's scheduled trip to Israel is on hold, telling Fox News it's for a number of reasons.
I also did it because I'm in the midst of a very powerful campaign that's going very well, and it was not that easy to do.
One day after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu came out against his call to ban Muslims from entering the U.S., Trump says he's decided to postpone. The man who gave weapons to the San Bernardino shooters could soon be arrested. Enrique Marquez bought the rifles Saeed Farouk and his wife used to murder 14 last week. Parts of Washington are in a state of emergency after being drenched in rain for over a week. Founder and CEO of Chipotle this morning trying to push his company through a tough couple of months that have seen multiple health scares across the country.
I'm sorry for the people who got sick. They're having a tough time, and I feel terrible about that, and we're doing a lot to rectify this and to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Steve Ells tells NBC the recent outbreak of the norovirus in Boston could get worse before it gets better because it spreads so quickly. An Illinois state representative has introduced a plan in Springfield that could allow for the recall of Chicago's mayor. Democrat Representative LaShawn Ford filed that bill outlining a lengthy process for a city special election yesterday. Ford visiting with AM 560 this morning, saying people have lost confidence in the mayor. Chicago sports. Boston beat the Bulls 105-100. College hoops on the women's side. Number 3 Notre Dame over number 18 DePaul 95-90. And the White Sox strike in the Hot Stove League, acquiring Brett Lowry from the A's for a couple of minor league prospects. The news is a service of Think It Up, and a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
This is Michelle DeVal from DeVal Jewelers. Dennis and I want you to know that when you sell your diamonds, gold, silver, platinum, and estate jewelry to us, we will strive to give you the highest cash payment possible.
And all transactions are strictly confidential. There's absolutely no pressure. And like Michelle said, we can pay you 50% more by eliminating the middleman. Why? Because we are direct buyers.
We buy certified diamonds and engagement rings, 1/2 carat and above, broken and used gold jewelry, estate jewelry, gold and silver coins, and more. more. We really do understand the sentimental value and pledge to be considerate, knowledgeable, and private.
We have been Chicagoland's family jeweler for over 100 years. We take pride in having the perfect jewelry selection for every budget and taste preference.
We're just south of the Kennedy on Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights. Call us at 708-867-8200. That's 708-867-8200 or visit DAVALLE.com.
DeVal Jewelers, more bling
and less sting.
Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer is a must-have for all busy parents. With just one scan to the forehead, Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer takes your child's temperature quickly and accurately. Available at Walgreens.
Fact, College Illinois 529 prepaid tuition locks in tuition at today's plan rates to help secure your child's future. Purchase now and enjoy 2015 plan prices before they increase on January 1st. Enroll now at collegeillinois.org.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
7:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens has delays starting around Niles Center. It's 33 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30 at the Kennedy. 54 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 25 from Montrose, 20 in the Express, outbound 34 to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower jam, Manheim to past Ashland with a stall in the right lane. 56 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 37. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Rhine is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound stop and go Washington to 137. Northbound slow 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. But Adams Tollway stop and go from the Elgin Toll to the Fox River Bridge, then Golf to Arlington Heights Road. There's a crash in the left lane. Traffic service of Unbound. What's the value of education or of self-confidence? What's it worth to know that you're part of a brighter future for a child living in poverty? Help to realize a new dream this season. Look closer at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Clouds will break this morning, windy in the midday, and near record temperatures across the area this afternoon. 46 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MJ Miller & Company Jewelers of Barrington. Make your holidays sparkle and shine with items from the new MJ Miller Holiday Catalog.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, it's Amy. And Amy, so people died, Rom lied, and then he cried. That was yesterday.
Yeah. That was my little slogan. Yeah.
My takeaway from the speech was that guns are bad, loitering is okay, and hide your hands when the police pull you over.
Yeah, it was a very skewed speech. I thought he was not helping the relations between the mayor's office and the Chicago Police Department.
And we just talked to State Representative LaShawn Ford last hour, who's introduced legislation in Springfield to recall one mayor, Rahm Emanuel. Hey, ho, ho, Rahm Emanuel's got to go.
That's what they were cheering yesterday, I do believe.
Rahm must go! Rahm must go! Rahm must go! Rahm must go!
That doesn't rhyme.
Well, it's a work in progress. I mean, they only walked around for 4 hours yesterday and then returned after taking a dinner break.
Where is the Black Caucus on the city council? Where are they on this? Why has not an ordinance been introduced at the city council level? We're going to be joined by Alderman David Moore. He represents some neighborhoods that have been beset by violence, including Inglewood and the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. Just to give you an order of magnitude, this year alone, 36 homicides, 280 wounded in Inglewood. Oh. 11 homicides, 86 wounded in Auburn, Gresham. Serious violence problem, not limited to the Laquan McDonald case. And Alderman David Moore joins us now. Alderman Moore, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. And so what do you make of LaShawn Ford's legislation, and is the city council going to follow suit and support that, or maybe do something at the city council level?
Well, at the end of the day, LaShawn Ford does something that I do, and I've known Representative Ford for a while now, and that's he listens to the people. I keep telling people when elected officials are running for office, they go to people's doors and ask them for their vote. They go to the churches and ask them for their vote. And people don't come to us asking us to sign signatures. We go to them. At the end of the day, people have the power. Elected officials are there to serve the people. And so, therefore, LaShawn Ford is listening to his constituents. And as an elected official, that's what you're there for, to listen to your constituents. And that's what he's doing.
Well, but what do you personally think? Do you want Rahm Emanuel to step down, and do you want a recall?
What I did, I introduced a resolution which is going, and I asked for a hearing. Whereas people asking for Emanuel's resignation, I'm always upfront and honest. I think we have to hear people, and he has to come before the people, the council and the public, and say what he knew and when. What I've learned, not only in this business but in life, what appears to be sometimes is not always the case. And as me, I would want to be given the benefit of the doubt until people heard me. So if he comes before and people do not like what he's hearing, including myself, then that's when you ask for a resignation or ask him to step down. Or if if he don't come, then you have to go on what your own belief is, because the person is not coming up to say their side. So you only can go by what you believe.
So did you buy his act of contrition yesterday or not?
As I said, he did. It's not whether I bought it or not. It's at the end of the day, as a leader, as any leader do, whether the president, when you're in crisis, you get up in front of the people and then you make a statement. It's up to the people then to decide whether they believe you or not.
You know, Alderman Moore, I've got to disagree with you on this. Yes, the people have to come to their own decisions, but you are an elected representative of the people, and they elect you in part for your own judgment. You're not just a weather vane to go wherever 50% plus one of the people are at any given time. So you have to exercise judgment in this case.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And so you're asking me, did the speech move me? Absolutely not. It did not.
Well, do you trust Mayor Emanuel?
No, I don't.
I
can't trust someone I haven't sat down and had conversations with.
But here's the thing. The ordinance or the legislation.
And I don't trust the policies because I haven't had a chance to sit down with him and talk about policies, and I have not been able to trust some of the policies that have come forth.
Well, yeah, how are the policies working in the neighborhoods you represent?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Not
so
great.
How can I trust it?
Well, so here's the issue. LaShawn Ford introduced this legislation. It's a recall mechanism. It's for Rahm Emanuel, obviously, but it's not limited to him. We have a recall statute on the books at the state level. Why not move a recall ordinance not just for Rahm Emanuel, not including Rahm Emanuel, but not just for him, but on a go-forward basis, so those people that you say should have their voices heard, they can recall a mayor, or they can move to recall an alderman if they follow a protocol like LaShawn laid out, or a different protocol. Why not move that along and give people an accountability mechanism of recall?
Okay, again, for me, and I'm going to be very honest, I think we had an opportunity, and people had an opportunity to elect a lot of people that are marching, which I'm supporting these marchers. A lot of people did not vote. And so we have our voting process. People have to come out to vote. Now, do I support LaShawn Ford? I support Mary Flowers because she's my state rep in my community, and I support my leadership, and she's one of the co-sponsors on that.
So that's why you're going to support it, because you're friends with Mary Flowers?
No, not because I'm friends with Mary Flowers. Not because I'm friends, because of the leadership, and I have to stick with my leadership.
All right. So yesterday you unveiled the Black Caucus alderman unveiled a 7-point plan of action. Can you explain that briefly?
Yes. It after the mayor made his speech, and we got together in the Black Caucus, and Reverend Jackson was sitting in there with us as well. We came up with, as a start, 7 points that we need to quickly ask for, demands, if you will. And these are going to be introduced in the council. And one is clearly that Chicago Police Department must stop shooting people in the back. You can't shoot somebody while they're running away, okay? And if somebody's running away, you cannot just shoot them in the back. The other one, police who falsify reports need to be prosecuted. They need to be charged and prosecuted. That's a straight out flat lie. They're there to uphold the law, and when they falsify reports, they must be held responsible and accountable. That we have to take on this hard task of engaging with the Fraternal Order of Police. We have to take them on, and unfortunately, you get a person like Pat Camden who's constantly on the air, and you go to the person who represents the police. Everything he says is going to be favoring skewed to the police. So we have to take on the FOP and their contracts for firing police officers who are, if you will, those rogue officers who do not represent the majority of police officers and the good works that they're doing.
What about mayors who sit on a videotape for at least 6 months, probably more like 13 months, pay $5 million in hush money, and do everything they can to thwart the release of public information to the public, not just in the Laquan McDonald case, but in the Ronnie Johnson case, in the Philip Coleman case, and on and on and on. When is there accountability on the fifth floor?
And that's why when people fought me, and even in my own, some people pushed back on me as I introduced this resolution, so the mayor to come before the city council, the public, for a hearing, and his administration, and what they knew and when. What did they know and when? You have to be accountable. You have to be accountable.
And you voted in favor of this $5 million.
And I was only the one. 3 of us stood up first on that. Myself, Alderman Wagasback, thank you so much. Alderman Carlos Rosa. Yet that takes courage to do that.
All right. He is Alderman David Moore, 17th Ward Alderman. Alderman Moore, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to...
I have the 7-point plan for you here if you need it.
Oh, I've heard enough of the points. Okay. I've heard just about all I need to hear. George in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Guys, I got to tell you, I mean, as much as I am no fan of Rahm Emanuel, I don't even know if this kid was coming out of a gang party celebrating the shooting of somebody last year. That should be in the media. Secondly, this guy, from a radio listener's perspective, said absolutely nothing. I mean, a 7-point plan. I mean, what are we, hanging lights? I mean, he said literally nothing.
Thanks for the call, George. The Democrat power structure, protecting the Democrat power structure. Don't forget, that's, to me, what this story is about. It is much bigger than Jason Van Dyke. It is much bigger than the Black Caucus on the city council. It's much bigger even than Rahm Emanuel. It's everybody closing ranks, except to the extent that the most powerful within that power structure can roll out some heads to try and satiate the public, which is what Tiny Dancer's trying to do. Greg in Peoria.
Yeah, I think that Alderman Moore hasn't gone far enough, because this is hush money that the city council paid to the McDonald family to hush them up. It's illegal. It's a cover-up. Anyone who voted yes to pay the McDonald family money needs to step down, because they're involved with a cover-up. They're all involved with it because they voted yes to pay that family hush money.
Thanks for
and these people are not taking their leadership, like Mr. Moore says. Their leadership should step in and say, you guys voted to hush this family up, and the city council should have said, we are going to let the process, and this album would take care of the situation. And instead, it would have hurt Rahm Emanuel's election, and Mr. Garcia would have probably been elected.
Thanks for the call, Greg. I appreciate
The
it.
deal was legal, though. I mean, it was.
Well, I understand.
The $5 million settlement
but
was legal.
Don't you find Alderman Moore's position fascinating?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you not move a recall ordinance? Why would you not vociferously support LaShawn Ford's recall legislation or some version of it at the state level? What are you afraid of? Why are you holding back
Because they're afraid
on
of
Tiny Dancer?
retaliation.
Because it's the power structure.
Yep.
Steve, retired police officer on the Northwest Side.
Good morning. I had a couple comments. First of all, this guy comes on the air and blames, as most liberals do, or people that don't know what they're talking about, they blame the FOP for the problems in the Chicago Police Department. That's like blaming the NRA for gun violence that happens in America. It's not the fault of the FOP for whatever problems exist within in this CPD. The FOP merely guarantees due process. They're there and they ensure that the officer who was accused of a transgression is getting due process. That's it. They don't even negotiate anymore or bargain for benefits, welfare benefits, or pay rates. It's just ridiculous what these people come out here and say.
Thanks for the call, Steve. I'll tell you what.
Didn't like what he said about Pat Camden.
Well,
Pat Camden is very good at his job.
And I'll tell you what. It's interesting, the due process point that he raises, because it's very interesting. The people that want due process for people they like and no longer want due process for people they don't like. That's not due process. That's not the rule of law. That's the rule of men, and that's the problem in Chicago.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Clouds today and then windy conditions, but it will be pretty warm around here, a high of 62 degrees. And then tomorrow, Friday, mostly cloudy, mild, a high of 53. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Tri-State southbound stop and go from 132 in Gurnee to 137. Northbound, the delays are 87th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway eastbound slow from the Elgin Toll to 25. Then Roselle Road to Arlington Heights Road, where a crash just cleared. Reagan Toll is pretty light. Veterans Memorial, still Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to St. Charles, and Army Trail to 290. The Edens, 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy, 51 minutes O'Hare to downtown. The Ike, an hour and 6 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop. The Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. And the Ryan is a 30-minute trip, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
You've heard me talking about the new website, upstream-ideas.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, then you're missing thoughtful expository content you won't find anywhere else from those who have operated in the political and policy arenas. Each week, you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current. That's our long-form interview series. This week with Bethany McLean. She's a CNBC contributor, a Fortune magazine columnist, the author of The Smartest Guys in the Room about the Enron collapse, and she's got a new book called Shaky Ground about the housing market. You want to check out that interview. You can also watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time to explain what the policy challenges are, why we have them, and what we can do about them. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising program, which tackles state and local politics and policy with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. At Upstream Ideas, questions are asked that don't get asked anywhere else. Points of view are heard that are not heard anywhere else. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
There's nothing better than turning up the music of Old Blue Eyes and letting the hits of one of the best crooners in history bounce off the walls. And Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville is going to host the party. Sunday, December 20th, get to Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville for the Ron Hawking Christmas Show and celebrate Frank's 100th birthday. See this amazing singer and impressionist while you swing through musical highlights of a man once dubbed the most popular entertainer of the 20th century. And if that isn't enough, Rat Pack flashbacks will accent this amazing festivity. Tickets for the Ron Hawking Christmas Show and Anniversary Celebration start at $35, and you can also go VIP Frank style for $75. So book your Sunday night 6:30 on December 20th at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. Call 847-549-1972 for tickets or visit fuelroom.com. That's 847-549-1972 or fuelroom.com.
The Gun Safety Guy's mission is pure and simple: to help good people safely enjoy recreational shooting and improve their ability to protect themselves and their family responsibly. This is what Pastor Ed Bryant, he's the Gun Safety Guy. This is what he has built for you and your family.
He's also a business benefactor.
Yes, he
Thank
is.
you, Pastor Bryant.
Well, the entire faith community that he shepherds is.
Yes.
Yeah, St. Timothy's Lutheran Church in Lombard.
Correct.
Thank you. Now back to Pastor Bryant, the Gun Safety Guy, whose background and experience enables him to communicate with all of his students, no matter what their age, gender, or ability. New shooters learn the fundamentals, experienced shooters develop their skills, and above everything, all shooters are taught to value safety first. Family-friendly firearms instruction is the core of the Gun Safety Guy. I took his basic pistol class. Excellent class. The other students that were in the class with me all enjoyed it, I know, because we talked about it. And if you don't believe me, you can listen to Ann B. Davis's Bowling Ball, one of our favorite texters and tweeters, who took his right to carry class, loved the class, said everything we've said about Pastor Ed Bryant is true, and now he's waiting for his right to carry license. So give the gift of firearm safety this holiday season. Gift certificates are available. Learn more at thegunsafetyguy.com. That's thegunsafetyguy.com. Family-friendly firearms instruction with NRA-certified instructor, Pastor Ed Bryant, thegunsafetyguy.com.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Everyone from Hillary Clinton and Ted Cruz to Rob Lau and Angelina Jolie say they've been inspired by Ayn Rand's most famous novel, Atlas Shrugged. What's the appeal? Atlas Shrugged grapples with the fundamental questions of human existence, presenting radically new answers. Is the pursuit of profit a noble enterprise or the root of all evil? Is sexual passion an exalted spiritual virtue or a dirty animalistic vice? Is reason an absolute or is faith an alternative source of truth? These are just a few of the timeless questions Ayn Rand explores in Atlas Shrugged, and her thought-provoking answers and intriguing characters will have you turning the pages for more. Pick up a copy of Atlas Shrugged today and visit ARIradio.com to learn more about the ideas in Ayn Rand's masterwork. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Ron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
AM 560, The Answer.
If you're a small business owner or if you do the marketing for your company, listen up. We still have some available slots for our business benefactor program. Anytime you make a donation, a one-time donation of $2,500, it's tax deductible. All of the money will go to Feed the Children. That's the group we've paired up with this time of year, our seventh year doing so, to feed needy and hungry children in the Chicago area. If you join our business benefactor program, $2,500 tax deductible. I just said that. As a way of saying thank you, we will give you
Groundhog Day.
We will give you 40 60-second commercials that will run prime time right here on AM 560 The Answer. Call our sales manager right now, Michael Mann. He's waiting by the phone. Don't make him wait any longer. 847-871-1527. It really is a great way to introduce your product, your business to the masses. You'll be helping the needy as well as helping your business get noticed.
And if you are not a business, don't want to participate in the business benefactor program, there's another way. You can make a contribution of any amount to Feed the Children by calling 866-435-2248. 866-435-2248. You can also open the AM 560 mobile app and just tap on the button that says Help Feed Chicago's Hungry Children. Trying to help feed 18,000 children this holiday season. And we need your generosity to accomplish that goal.
And it just takes a minute to help so many. Operators are standing by, 866-435-2248. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan Herbert, he's the criminal defense attorney for Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke in the Laquan McDonald case. We'll ask him how much he enjoyed Tiny Dancer's speech yesterday before the city council. That's at 8:08.
And how it will affect their case. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an Aurora man pleads guilty to planning a terror attack. Mayor Emanuel apologized while a state rep proposes a bill to recall the mayor of the city of Chicago. Speaker Mike Madigan suggests an income tax increase again, and the Celtics hand the Bulls their third straight loss. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. A week after the San Bernardino massacre, the first funerals today. Yvette Velasco was among the 14 murdered. This as charges are expected against the killer's former neighbor for supplying the guns used.
This horrible young woman that came in and shot people with her so-called husband last week, she was not vetted. She came in through the process. She was not vetted. They didn't know who she was.
Donald Trump explaining why he wants a temporary ban on Muslims coming to America, though he's been much criticized, even by fellow Republicans. Israel's prime minister also opposes the plan, and this morning Trump postponed a trip this month to Israel. But a new Fox poll shows Trump's plan resonates. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
A survey in South Carolina taken around the time Trump called for the temporary Muslim ban shows him gaining in popularity among likely Republican primary voters with 35% support. The poll was taken Saturday through Tuesday, and it shows Trump gaining points after he made the comments on Monday. Ben Carson is in second place with 15% support. Dave.
Rachel, apology not accepted. Anti-police protesters keep calling for Chicago's mayor to resign. Fox's Jeff Manasso's there live.
Dave, protesters took to city streets here yesterday, blocking traffic and repeating their calls for Mayor Rahm Emanuel and State's Attorney Anita Alvarez to step down. This follows the apology yesterday for what the mayor calls years of mistrust between the city and police and the shooting death of a black teen last year. One state lawmaker also has introduced legislation that could remove the mayor, who says he's not quitting, just days after the Justice Department announced a probe into police practices here. Dave.
Jeff, the Golden Globe nominations are just out for Best Drama Movie.
Carol, Mad Max, Fury Road, The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight.
Now for TV, Empire, Game of Thrones, Mr. Robot, Narcos, and Outlander are vying for the Golden Globe for Best Drama. January 10th, we'll find out the winners. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly cloudy, 48 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An Aurora man pleads guilty to charges he provided material support to ISIS and made false statements regarding terrorism. Jonas Edmonds entered that plea before a federal judge Wednesday. He's accused, along with his cousin, of plotting to attack an Illinois National Guard base in Joliet with assault rifles and grenades, hoping to kill as many as 150. Demonstrators demanding the resignation of Chicago mayor and Cook County top prosecutor marching through downtown yesterday and blocking traffic. The latest protest over the fatal police shooting of black teenager Laquan McDonald. Earlier in the day, Mayor Rahm Emanuel gave a City Hall speech vowing to reform the police department, saying the city must tackle underlying issues like poverty.
What happened on my watch, the innocent loss of the life of a young man, and a systematic breakdown of a system that was supposed to safeguard the protection of life.
Meantime, lawyers in a 2013 Chicago police shooting case says the city keeps fighting release of videos by pledges of greater transparency. The comments came following a Wednesday hearing in a civil case brought by Cedric Chapman's family. The trial of a black Chicago police commander accused of putting a gun down a suspect's throat will continue today. Glenn Evans is charged with aggravated battery and official misconduct. Chicago sports, NBA, Boston beat the Bulls 105-100. College hoops on the men's side, DePaul over Drake. Illinois top Yale. Women's college hoops, number 3 Notre Dame over number 18 DePaul. The news service of Think It Up. At 8:03, it's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Kieran McHugh.
From the Fox Business Network, on Wall Street, stock futures are higher ahead of reports on U.S. import-export prices, as well as jobless claims. Not much change in global stocks amid continued uncertainty concerning the energy sector and next week's decision by the Fed on interest rates. More bad press for Chipotle after more than 100 Boston college students came down with the norovirus. Public health officials then confirmed the presence of the virus at the Chipotle restaurant at the center of the outbreak. The students, including the basketball team, all ate at that particular eatery. The company says the outbreak of the illness is not related to the recent E. coli cases. And the CEO of Facebook trying to capitalize on Donald Trump's comments about keeping Muslims out of the U.S. Mark Zuckerberg says Muslims are always welcome on Facebook. In a posting on his personal page, Zuckerberg says, "We will fight to protect your rights and create a peaceful and safe environment for you." With the Fox Business Report, I'm Karen McHugh.
It's 8:04 in Chicago. Time to check the climate of your business with Air Comfort. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you need to replace your tired old blinds? What if you could wave a magic wand and make them absolutely perfect? Well, you can't. But you can go to Blinds.com, the world's #1 online blind store. There's a huge selection, helpful videos, even a free design consultation. And every week they'll make brand new offers appear right before your eyes. So visit Blinds.com and make upgrading to new beautiful blinds seem almost magical. Go to Blinds.com or call 888-4BLINDS. That's 888-4-BLINDS. Call or go to Blinds.com today.
Have you purchased gold? Did you overpay in commissions? How much did you pay? Do you actually know? What are your coins worth today? You work hard for your money. Pay their high commissions or get more gold. Call Goldworth. Discover what big dealers hope you don't know. Request the Insider's Guide free. Don't buy another ounce without it. Call 800-257-GOLD. 800-257-GOLD. Visit goldworth.com.
In a world where massive dunks are cheered, hitting buckets from downtown are praised, where winning is everything, are you ready? This is Huskies basketball on the Huskies Sports Network.
The Northern Illinois University Huskies basketball season is underway. Tune in to your only Chicago radio home for all things Huskies, AM 560, The Answer.
2015 may be slipping away, but many of your financial concerns are probably still here. What will happen in the stock market next year, and how will it affect your accounts? Will you have enough saved for retirement? Raj Shah at Secure Capital Management can help you answer those questions with a complimentary year-end review. He'll discuss ways of dialing back your risk while still getting a reasonable return. He can help identify unnecessary fees that may be reducing your bottom line. And finally, is there anything more you could be doing to grow and protect your money? Call Raj Shah to find out. Raj has an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. Call 800-211-1962 to schedule your complimentary year-end review. That's 800-211-1962. And don't forget to listen to Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities, licensed in Illinois.
8:07 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Tri-State southbound, there are heavy delays from 132 to 137. Northbound, slow 87th to 31st. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. And Everett to 60 Town Line, where there's a crash in the left lane. Eastbound Adams Tollway delays. The Elgin Toll to 25 and Roselle to Arlington Heights Road. Westbound slow Gulf to 53 with construction. And Barrington to Higgins. Northbound Veterans Memorial. Stop and go from Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. The Edens runs 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 23. To Kennedy, 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 33. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 6 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 53 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 39 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Rhine is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds give way to some sun. Increasingly windy with a high of 57. Breezy with increasing clouds tonight, low 38. Then tomorrow, mostly cloudy and mild with a high of 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 47 at O'Hare, 49 along the lakefront. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The mayor is trying desperately to change the conversation away from the past 13 months to his new effort to end racism and officer misconduct in the Chicago Police Department.
But if we're also going to begin the healing process, the first step in that journey is my step, and I'm sorry.
Rome must go! Rome must go! Rome must go! Rome must go!
Protesters say they will march well into the night, planning yet another protest within the hour.
The backlash is growing around the world tonight over Donald Trump's plan to ban Muslims from entering the U.S., at least temporarily.
I'm the least racist person that you have ever met. I am the least racist person.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Now, we don't have time for this today because we have so much on our plate, but I do want to direct people's attention to perhaps one of the most important op-eds that has ever been written. I mean, I don't want to overstate it.
I think you just did, but
well,
what do I need to read?
The only way to know is to read it and judge for yourself. There's a commentary in the Tribune today entitled, "When Teachers Threaten a Strike." CTU started their voting yesterday. They'll vote through tomorrow to authorize a strike. That doesn't mean they'll go on strike right away, but perhaps by as soon as February, maybe later than that, we'll see. You know that they're going to authorize the strike. That's going to happen. But the op-ed is entitled, "When Teachers Threaten a Strike, Call Their Bluff." Very important op-ed by a little-known author named Dan Proft.
Oh.
And so you're gonna want to.
Now I see
You're gonna want to read that.
going with this.
You're gonna want to read that.
Oh, I will read that definitely.
Life-changing. Yesterday, speaking of watershed moments, little tiny dancer and his river of tears, but not when it came to Officer Van Dyke.
Rome must go!
That wasn't Rom.
That wasn't Officer Van Dyke.
No, it wasn't. This is Rom, though.
Nothing can excuse what happened to Laquan McDonald.
I have a sense that Dan Herbert, who is the defense attorney for Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke, would beg to differ with the mayor. Dan Herbert joins us now. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, morning, guys. I would disagree with the mayor.
Well, what did you think of the vilification of your client?
Well, to quote the mayor, I thought it was heinous. Essentially, apparently the presumption of innocence and the Constitution gets thrown out the window when the mayor feels a little bit of heat. And I gave him a lot of deference when on the verge of the release of this video. I understood he was trying to protect the city, but the way he keeps going on, it has become abundantly clear that he is trying to protect himself.
Well, let me ask you this rather counterintuitive question. I mean, right now, Rom is about as popular as Lyme disease, so the more that he talks and denigrates your client and your case, perhaps the better it is, particularly if you choose a jury trial.
Well, that's a great point. And, if and when I decide to seek a change of venue, essentially Exhibit A is going to be Rahm Emanuel's comments. He has done everything to justify a change in venue by essentially all but condemning my client for the last 2 weeks.
Do you want to have a change of venue to a different county or move it out, possibly out of state?
Well, I'll look into that. But, and it's it rarely happens in Cook County. I think the last time it was sought was in the Jeff Fort trial, and I don't even think it was granted back then. But I have looked into it recently, and I think that we would, maybe look to try to get one of the collar counties or somewhere downstate Illinois, where perhaps the mayor's message won't be so clearly embedded in their minds.
Yeah, well, I don't know how well it's being received here, but let me ask you this: Anita Alvarez, the decision to not charge the officer in the Ronnie Johnson shooting. There's it's not a completely parallel, of course, every case is different, but there is one rather important parallel that I wonder if you find valuable in any way with respect to defending your client, and that is you had a number of officers on the scene. You had only one officer open fire. that's similar to the Laquan McDonald, Jason Van Dyke situation.
Yeah, there is a lot of similarities, and in some respects, it's a more justifiable shooting, and then in some respects, some can argue that it's that there's more problems with it from the standpoint that the shots were clearly in this individual's back. But from what I know of the case, I think it was absolutely a justifiable shooting. But the point is, there are a lot of similarities, and I listened to Anita Alvarez's press conference, and I found it kind of ironic that she seemed to be echoing a lot of the same statements that I was making in defense of my client as justification for her reasons not to charge in that Johnson case. So, I think she made the right decision in that case, but you really can't have it both ways. If you're talking about officers being, she quoted the Graham versus Connor language.
Yeah.
Which, she talks about how officers are forced to make split-second decisions, and, she talked about how it applied in the Johnson case. You can't discount it in my client's case because it applies.
Well, that was my thinking. Listening to her, I was thinking, if I'm Dan Herbert, I in my closing statement, I cede my time to Anita Alvarez and just play the tape.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But no, she really did. Charging a police officer is a difficult decision. I just think, I think that she portrayed it well in the Johnson case, including, by including the 911 calls as part of the video presentation. Of course, that wasn't done for the Van Dyke case because, they were charging Van Dyke, and that would have been helpful to my client. So, I think that there's a lot of similarities between the two cases, and I think it's a tough scenario for my client.
So Mayor Emanuel claims that he did not see the dash cam video that the world has seen now until after there was a settlement. Did he see any of the other dash cam videos, that 18 minutes when Laquan was terrorizing people in the neighborhood and slashing cop car tires?
I don't know what he saw, but I would imagine that if somebody's going to authorize a $5 million check, he's going to have a pretty good understanding of what took place that night. But I don't know what he saw.
Is there the possibility in your case to depose Rahm Emanuel, particularly pertaining to that $5 million settlement?
No, I don't think. I mean, first of all, depositions in criminal cases, there are exceptions where they're allowed, but it's extremely rare in a.
Well, right. I shouldn't say deposition, but I mean, in other words, call him to testify. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll serve him.
It probably wouldn't be relevant. I'm just trying to think of a relevancy argument, but we're going to explore every avenue because the rules have really, really changed, and ever since the last couple of weeks in this case.
How is your client doing? I mean, especially with this, now we have a Department of Justice investigation. What's his reaction to that, and how's he handling life?
He doesn't really care about the Department of Justice investigation. His concern right now is not his employment with the city because he's not employed. He's fighting for his safety. He's hanging in there.
Any discussions or interest in discussions of a plea bargain with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office?
No, not. I mean, will they offer us something? I doubt it, but certainly there would be no offers made now. We're so early in this process.
I mean, that's one of the things, too. I mean, just to give people a sense of this, what is the time horizon do you expect, or, a range for this to go to trial and be adjudicated?
I would say, generally speaking, we're probably looking at a year and a half before it goes to trial. But again, it could be that time frame could be shortened, or it could be lengthened, depending on the pretrial motions.
And your client, Jason Van Dyke, I can't say this enough, didn't shoot Laquan because he was black. He shot him because he wouldn't stop and drop his weapon, correct?
That's exactly right. And he was in fear of his life. I mean, he really, and I haven't talked to him about this, but I think we spoke last time. I don't even think he knew what race Laquan McDonald was when he made the decision to fire. And that's pretty common for all police officers. So race is, it's a big issue now, but it was a non-factor during the shooting.
He is Dan Herbert. He's the defense attorney for Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke in the Laquan McDonald case. Dan, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, let's take a couple calls here. What do you say? How about Mark in Des Plaines?
Yeah, hey, you guys, this whole mayor thing, I mean, it was so obvious that he was trying to protect his own power. And it's so symptomatic of what's going on, on a broader scale all throughout this country. Look at this. We've heard about the Republicans talking about a brokered convention if Donald Trump wins the primary. I mean, look, if the people vote for Donald Trump, whether I like him or not, for crying out loud, he should be the candidate. But it's the same thing from the city level. These guys, they have their power. They want to hold on to it forever. And, they get all their minions to work for them, all of their, right down to the precinct captains in Chicago,
Right.
They're all going to kind of, hold, just like you said, Dan, they're just trying to, they don't want to break ranks. They just want to, keep their guy in power so they can keep their money coming in. And
That's what crime families do. Thanks for the call, Mark. Bob on the Northwest Side.
All right, I have one thing to say. Nobody has ever asked the mayor who offered this woman the money. She never asked for it. Nobody's ever said it was the corporation council.
No.
Police department.
According to Rahm Emanuel, he had an op-ed in the Sun-Times and the Tribune over the weekend saying that the family's attorney approached them at City Hall.
And
but now I don't know if I believe him, but that's what he claims.
Well, right. He claimed that, and then he said that he was briefed by the corp counsel, his corp counsel, and after he was told the details, this is, again, Rahm saying this, after he was told the details of the dash cam video, that's when they agreed that the $5 million settlement was the appropriate course of action. That's his story.
Okay, wait. One other thing I would say. I mean, everything he said yesterday. I mean, I can see a policeman going into a building, where a boy has just shot his mother and father, sliced up his brother and his sister, and then you say to him, you know what? You had a hard life because you've been in gangs, you've been stealing money and making money, and I'm asking you, can you please put the gun down? I don't want. You can spit in my face, you can beat me. I still have a family of 4 children and a wife to go home to. Come on, this is so stupid. I mean, you imagine going on the street and doing that?
Thanks for the call, Bob. Brian in Nottingham Park.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hey, you know what? It just kind of goes right on with the previous caller. I just had a quick question and a comment. Is there evidence of Laquan McDonald running around slashing police tires and stuff like that?
Well, there was damage to a
there's
cruiser.
There's damage, yes.
So windshield damage and tire damage to a cruiser, and then there's the calls, the 911 calls that suggest that was the vandalism was going on.
And then there is a couple that will testify that he was threatening them with a knife as well.
If that's the case, and I believe you, if that could be argued that we went from accusation to punishment right there. I mean, here's a guy and leave his race out of it. Here's a guy who's totally being unruly. I could see someone coming to the conclusion of excessive force with 16 shots. Exactly what that previous caller just said. However, in this country, we have a thing called due process.
Right.
Due process. And
he had plenty of time to drop the weapon and surrender to police, and he chose not to. Instead, he went on a rampage and was about to run into a strip mall.
100% correct. But however, you know what? Being a school teacher myself, we have a thing called Common Core State Standards. I believe if you want real change throughout the nation, all of the academies need to have some type of alternate training, and we need to process that mentality out of all of the new cadets coming out.
Thanks. I'm sorry, Brian. Thanks for the call. Terry and Gurnee.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Couple of points. Number one, I want to say that I believe that the vast majority of police are professionals and do a great job. However, they're human. They make mistakes. And there are folks that turn bad. And the few that do, they need to be rooted out. I think the best way to do that is 24/7 monitoring, surveillance, audio, and video. They can't turn it off when they're on duty unless they have something, they have to go to the bathroom, whatever. Second thing is when this incident happened, I'm sure that there was a dispatch saying black man going down the street with a knife. So I don't understand how Van Dyke could not have known that it was a black man. That makes no sense at all.
Thanks for the call. I'm sorry, Terry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we gotta go. There is a question about that. The dispatch that's been released, his race is not identified. I find it a little bit difficult to believe he didn't know the race too, even just when he rolled up on him. But it's possible. due process argument, a good argument. Dash cams, sure. But as I've said before, I have no opposition to body cams and all that. I have no opposition to that. But I'd also like to see the politicians wear them.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, clouds. Maybe some sunshine by this afternoon, but it's going to be windy and it's going to be warm. We could hit the record high of 62 degrees. Last hit when, Dan? What year? Were you listening?
1066, William the Conqueror, Battle of Hastings.
1879. Then tomorrow, Friday, mostly cloudy, mild, a high of 53. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Tri-State Tollway northbound traffic is stop and go from around the Archer Avenue to the Hinsdale Oasis, then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and 22 half-day to Town Line with a crash on the left shoulder. Southbound it's slow, 132 to Old Plain and 176 to Town Line. The delays on the inbound 8 and starting at Foster, 24 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Kennedy, 47 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 33. The Eisenhower, an hour and 6 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 37 minutes. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Gather your friends, your family, and coworkers to team up for a holiday party that will be remembered for years to come. Make 10 Pin Bowling Lounge your destination for your office party or get-together. 10 Pin isn't just bowling. It's a cool, comfortable, upscale lounge with great music, delicious food, and a tempting drink list. You have to see their 128-foot video wall featuring your favorite sports teams or your own presentation. And you'll be on your game on one of the 24 state-of-the-art bowling lanes. If the pins don't go down as easily as the martinis, burgers, and conversation, don't worry. That's only part of the fun. Let their expert team of party planners customize your event, big or small. There's room for everyone. So enjoy your next happy hour, corporate outing, or party at 10 Pin Bowling Lounge downtown on State Street, right next to the House of Blues. Come for the bowling, or just come for everything else. Get started today at 10pinchicago.com. That's 10pinchicago.com. The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you wanted to refinance and pay off debt, you called me and I helped you. When your kids were purchasing their first home and you wanted to make sure they were working with a trustworthy lender, you called me and I helped them. If you would like to talk to me about a mortgage, please give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Amy, you want to hear something sick?
Sure.
Jeremy Gorner, who's a crime reporter for the Chicago Tribune, tweeted, Bill Ayers, founder of the Weather Underground, he was at the Chicago Police Board meeting last night. Bill Ayers, founder of the Weather Underground, terrorist, domestic terrorist Bill Ayers, scumbag. If people see Bill Ayers out and about, feel free to go up to him and mention what a terrorist scumbag he is, disgustingly living off our tax dollars as a UIC pensioner. What a joke.
Wow. Well, we have teamed up with Feed the Children, this isn't a joke, to help raise money for those less fortunate this holiday season. We're asking for a one-time donation of $76 to feed 16 hungry children. You know, 1 in 5 American children face the prospect of hunger on a regular basis, and hunger does not take a holiday. So we're asking you to make a one-time donation on behalf of your well-fed children or grandchildren. Call 866-435-2248. And there's another way to help, Dan.
You turn your microphone on, and then you call sales manager Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527. He's here in studio. He's in a suit. He looks
nice.
Very dapper, all dressed up for the holidays. You have to call him to enroll in our business benefactor program, which is a program for any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children, and in return gets 40 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday during prime broadcasting hours on AM 560. The Answer, you just call Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527 or text the word FEED to our turnkey.pro text line 64636.
Yes, do it today. It's a way to get your business noticed. It's a way to take your business to the next level. So Michael Mann, call him. He's waiting. 847-871-1527. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We have Donna Moore. She's a candidate for Cook County State's Attorney running against Anita Alvarez. And she suggests Anita Alvarez should resign. We'll ask her why at 8:38.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here once again is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have gray skies and 48 degrees at this hour. Forecasters say more rain is on the way in the Pacific Northwest. And through the weekend, states of emergency have been declared in Washington and parts of Oregon. Officials and public records indicate there was a deeper connection between the gunman in the San Bernardino massacre and the friends who bought the assault rifles. Yesterday, FBI Director James Comey said the two shooters were radicalized before they began dating online.
They were actually radicalized before they started courting or dating each other online. And online, as early as the end of 2013, they were talking to each other about jihad and martyrdom before they became engaged.
Meantime, a Minnesota man has been charged with conspiring to help ISIS. 20-year-old Abdirazak Mohammed Warsami was charged by criminal complaint with conspiracy to provide material support to a foreign terror organization. Later today, President Barack Obama will sign into law a rewrite of the landmark No Child Left Behind education law. Under that new law, students will still take federally required statewide reading and math exams. An Illinois state representative has introduced a plan that would allow for the recall of Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. Democrat Representative LaShawn Ford detailed that legislation this morning with Dan and Amy here on AM 560. The trial of a black Chicago police commander accused of putting a gun down a suspect's throat will continue today. Glenn Evans is charged with aggravated battery and official misconduct. Two teens are due in court today following a deadly shooting more than a year ago on the southwest side. Jacob Morales and another boy are charged in the 2014 murder of Oscar Garcia. As Chicago teachers continue to vote to authorize a strike if Chicago public schools go through with extensive layoffs, CPS Chief Forrest Claypool is reportedly planning deep cuts in his office staff as well. The Sun-Times reporting that Claypool could lay off about a third of the central office administrative staff. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler had 36, but Boston got the win over the Bulls, 105-100. The White Sox get into the trading mood on the south side, swapping a couple of minor league prospects for third baseman Brett Lowry of the A's. The news service of the Foundation for a Better Life, Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Here's Dr. Howard, formulator of Balance of Nature, an all-natural, 100% organic fruit and vegetable supplement.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Get real today with Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
Got a great night's sleep last night, all thanks to my buddy, my pillow. I've had one for more than a year now, and I absolutely cannot live without it. Take it on vacations, take it on trips. It's the best. If it gets dirty, throw it in the washer and dryer, and you're good to go that next night. It conforms to your neck and back and keeps its shape to give you the support where you need it the most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, American made. And for the MyPillow buy one get one free offer and 60-day money-back guarantee, visit mypillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy. Do it now because this offer is for a limited time. Keep a pillow for yourself. Give one as a gift. They'll love it. And if not, you have that 60-day money-back guarantee. 800-489-0201 or online at mypillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds. And more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic.
Andro 400 Max, the best all-natural testosterone booster. Gain energy, lose belly fat. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Cornerstone National Bank believes trust, service, and relationship is the foundation of a business banking partnership. Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company, where you belong. Visit cornerstonenb.com. Member FDIC.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
837 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens outbound has delays from Montrose to Lake Avenue with a crash in the two left lanes. It's 36 minutes, Montrose to Lake Cook, inbound 24. Inbound Kennedy, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35. The Eisenhower, 58 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 37. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, fine outbound. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Delays on the northbound Tri-State are from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, Reagan to North Avenue, and 22 to 60 with a crash on the left shoulder. Southbound, it's jammed from 132 to 60. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow from Roselle to Meacham, westbound from Gulf to 53. With work on the right lane, also slow Barrington to Higgins. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Clouds this morning will break, becoming windy midday, and some spots will be up near the record high of 62. It's 40 overnight and 53 tomorrow. 46 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by College Illinois. Secure your child's future by enrolling them today at collegeillinois.org.
Dan and Amy, well, Tiny Dancer had a lot to say yesterday. He's got a lot of problems with us people. Took a page out of his old boss, Barack Obama's book. Here's one of the things he said, hey, cops, hey, why don't you go home and think about what you do?
I ask every officer in Chicago, reflect on your work, your training, your experience, and to be honest about the fears and frustrations you bring to that job. They are real. They matter. And we as a city cannot be afraid to talk openly and honestly about them.
And he wasn't done after that. We went from, he distributed a lot of blame. So he went from people like police officers to
go think about what you're doing.
Right, to inanimate objects.
As a nation, we have done too little to reverse the gun epidemic that makes every encounter between the public and the police potentially lethal. Shoot first and ask questions later too easily become the default practice and posture in a fearful world where mass killings are now a regular event and there's an increasing likelihood of a gun in every home, car, or backpack.
I don't even know what that means. The shoot first, ask questions
later and then
pause later.
Associating it with mass murders.
What? Who's shooting first and asking questions later? Law-abiding people with guns? Police officers? Who? I don't. I'm confused. I'm also confused when you look at the contextual factor, like the body count, since Rahm has been mayor in the city of Chicago, which dwarfs L.A. and New York combined, since he wanted to do the New York and L.A. comparison. And then there was this odd portion of his stem winder where he talked about the trust relationship between police and residents based on what do you do when you get pulled over?
Well, you put your hands on the wheel, right? That's what I was taught.
And I want to be honest. When an African American mother or father or a grandparent feel it is necessary to train their sons and daughters to behave with extreme caution, when they are pulled over by police, to have both hands on the wheel and visible, what does that say? We have a trust problem.
I behave with extreme caution, and I'm white. And you put your hands on the wheel. It doesn't matter what if you're in a minority group, you just do it because that's what you're supposed to do.
I did that growing up when I started my speed racer routine and would get pulled over every other week for speeding. I did that with Wheaton cops. I do that with Chicago cops, with state police. I've had a lot of interaction with law enforcement because of speeding, just speeding alone. But yeah, why wouldn't you? That because you want to say, here are my hands, and then you have the interaction with police, and then that represents
basic.
A lack of trust.
Well, I'm telling you, he did a hell of a job ruining relationships between the mayoral office and Chicago police, because it gets better.
When parents tell their children not to congregate on corners, especially in groups, out of fear for them encountering the police, what does that say? We have a trust problem.
When my little boy gets beat up in a back alley by his drug dealers, and we have to turn off the cameras.
And then make the red line camera disappear.
And he's just trying to speak to his college counselor at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. What does that say? It says I'm a big fat liar. That's what it says.
Well, he was so off base yesterday.
So loitering is good, and make sure your hands are disguised when a police officer comes up so he doesn't know what he's confronting, or he or she. That makes a lot of sense. That was a bizarre speech, and he did a kind of a twofer. Mm-hmm. He's trying to, kind of dull the blade with police as well as with the community, and he did a nice job of alienating both, as the protesters on the streets would indicate, and as some of the reactions we've gotten from police today would also indicate. But now, one person he didn't blame during his 37 minutes, Cook County State's Attorney Anita Alvarez.
Didn't mention her once.
Did not mention her other than kind of by inference in the Laquan McDonald prosecution because of Officer Van Dyke being charged with murder. But that hasn't stopped one of her opponents, Donna Moore, who we've had on the show before. She's a former federal prosecutor, former Cook County State's attorney, from suggesting that if she were Anita Alvarez, she'd resign. And Donna Moore joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hi, thanks. Good morning.
Good morning. And so you said if you were Anita Alvarez, you would resign. Why is that?
Well, you can't do your job if you don't have the trust of the community that you're fair, that you're consistent, that you're transparent. And I think that the McDonald case is only one in a long line of cases during her 7-year tenure that has shown us as a community that she's not doing her job. And the other thing, when you're talking about the mayor's speech yesterday, he at one point he did say that IPRA's record, since it was created in 2007, has, out of the hundreds of police shootings that they've reviewed, only a handful of them have led to any charges. And to me, that's not an IPRA problem. That is a state's attorney problem. Nobody else has the power to charge and indict these cases but the Cook County State's attorney. So to me, the mayor was, in fact, saying, where has the state's attorney been in all this?
Yeah, and do you think there should be some type of investigation into the Cook County State's Attorney's office? I mean, you have one for the police department, you don't want to have one for the mayor's office, and you don't have one for her.
I think there should be an investigation into what took 400 days in this particular case, and also look at some other cases that we've had questionable results in. It is, if the state's attorney does her job, this case gets promptly charged, the public is informed, and we would be in a courtroom now instead of on the street.
What about the other 13-month investigation, the Ronnie Johnson case? Did you agree with Alvarez in terms of her decision not to charge the officer in that case?
I have not seen the video in that case. I'm not sure they released it publicly yet. So it's hard for me to comment on that case because obviously I like to see the evidence that's there. In the McDonald case, the video was so overwhelming that, you know, I didn't necessarily need to read police reports, but now, of course, the police reports are out as well.
Well, the video has been released in the Ronnie Johnson case.
Oh, okay, then I have not logged in to see it in the past few days. So I will take a look at it and comment next time I'm on your show. But what she did in terms of explaining her actions, whether we agree with it or not, should have been done 400 days ago. And the only reason we got any explanation is because the news media has forced her hand.
Do you think that if you were, I shouldn't say do you think, if you were the Cook County State's attorney in this position, and I know you're going to say, well, I wouldn't be in this position, I understand, but let's say you were, you saw Rahm address the city council. Do you think that Anita Alvarez should come forward and offer some kind of comprehensive explanation of what has been going on in her office and what that she is going to do to reform or perhaps not reform her office in light of the multitude of cases we've been talking about the last couple of weeks?
The problem is she has come forward and she's given us two excuses. One is that she couldn't indict a state murder charge because of a federal investigation. And the second is she didn't have information from IPRA, the Independent Police Review Board. And neither of those hold water. As you mentioned earlier, I'm a former state's attorney, but also a former assistant U.S. attorney. And the U.S. Attorney's Office does not indict state murder charges. That is the purview of the Cook County State's Attorney. They do investigate public corruption in our county. They do investigations on civil rights violations, but there's no need to have to wait for the results of those types of investigations to indict a state murder charge. And ultimately, of course, she didn't wait for those. So she tried to pull a fast one on the public, but it didn't work. And in terms of waiting for IPRA, That's a problem, too. The state's attorney's office has the ability to get the information from the police department real time. And if not, you better be yelling and screaming as the state's attorney that you're not getting information real time. And you cannot wait for an IPRA investigation or anything else if you have the evidence to indict on a murder charge. You got to do it.
All right. She is Donna Moore, candidate for Cook County State's Attorney. Donna, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. You join us on the Turnkey.pro answer line. We got a full bank of calls. Let's start with Bob, a Chicago Police Department detective from the Southwest Side. Bob.
Well, first, I'd like to make a quick comment on the last caller. How do you come on your show and you didn't even review the second video, yet you're going to comment on the core part of the conversation? I mean, Anita Alvarez, whether you disagree with her or not about these topics, she went out of her way to show the thoroughness of the second investigation. And the first investigation, they just put a raw video out, which was wrong. But Donna Moore should have educated herself before speaking, especially if she's running for office. The second part is there's some hard numbers to deal with in Chicago, and it makes people uncomfortable sometimes when you talk about them. And I'll just fire off a few of them. I think the last 6 Chicago police officers that were murdered by male blacks. Okay? These are hard numbers to talk about sometimes. Male blacks represent about 16% of our population in the city, and I think it's common knowledge that they do about 80% of the murders and the shootings. And it's done in their own areas, okay? But we have to concentrate on where we are focusing our police officers. The Black Caucus asks that the police officers get assigned to those areas to quash the violence. The police officers will make contact with you, okay? Traffic stops, they'll answer the calls. You cannot ask for an overwhelmingly high number of police officers to be assigned to your area, into an area that's violent, and then act surprised when something of controversy comes up. You can't. You cannot have it both ways. We have districts that have a good area and a bad area to them. 99% of the cars get assigned to those areas. Coincidentally, it's areas where it's African-American population. Now, do the police department, as an individual member, do we have to discern? We can't treat everyone the same, and nor do we. But we know something about car stops and about domestics that the mayor ices over. Those are the 2 areas where more police officers get killed. That's the nationwide stat. It's the most dangerous time when we're pulling you over. It's a car stop or a domestic. So when you do get pulled over, you should put your hands on
Yeah,
it.
right. I know.
You should roll your
silly.
window down. You should say, I mean, there's a spoof that Chris Rock did about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I know. How not to get your butt kicked by
raw.
police. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
it's raw, but there's a message in there. Okay, it's for all of us, white or black. And then here's the other part: the 500-pound elephant in the room. Ron doesn't want us to talk about race. They don't want us to acknowledge race. But then they give us these promotional exams on the police department. Everyone wants the best police officer, the best supervisor. The last sergeant's exam, passing was 52% on the first part. Now, why was that done? 52% in CPS, we'd be calling for the resignation of the principal. We'd be firing teachers. We'd be suing CPS. But on the Chicago Police Department, 52% is passing because people like Joe Moore and the Black Caucus find it okay in order to advance minorities and to get their numbers. They hire firms like Arthur Anderson to come in and do a study.
Yeah,
and they look at my test and they say, okay, this guy's a male white, this guy's a male black. We need to drop the score down to 52% in order to carry the numbers.
Bob,
what is that fair for?
I got you. We got to run, but I got you. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
When an officer approaches your car, be polite.
Is there a problem, officer?
And stay in your car with your hands on the wheel.
What the you want, mother?
Unless you want to.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Clouds today, windy and warm, a high near 62 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, outbound Edens, hands on the wheel, feet on the brakes. From Foster to Lake Avenue with a crash, now on the right side, but it's 44 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook, inbound 24. The Kennedy, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35. The Ike, an hour and 2 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 37 minutes. The Stevenson, 56 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound fine. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound still bottled up from 120 to 176. Northbound from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Guys, do you want to outdo yourself this Christmas? Well, surprise her with a gift designed especially for fans of Downton Abbey. I'm talking about the all-new Downton Abbey PJs available exclusively at Pajamagram. They have created 3 styles inspired by the hit series' distinctive cast, including the fashion-forward Lady Mary, the sweet, flirty Lady Rose, and the elegant Lady Cora. Just imagine how much fun she'll have watching her favorite show and character with rich fabrics and aristocratic details and 20s design inspiration. These PJs, if anybody wears these, male, I'll be concerned. These PJs will make her feel like a true Crawley. As a deluxe touch, all PJs arrive in a satin gift envelope. Now I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas. Buy the whole collection and save over $70. No need to worry about choosing the wrong style or size because all PJs by Pajamagram are backed by a Love It guarantee. You don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging. Christmas delivery guaranteed. Visit Pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs, 1-800-GIVE-PJs, and tell them Dan and Amy sent you.
Haters gonna hate.
We're here reporting live from Santa's workshop. Santa, thanks for taking time in the busiest season of the year.
Oh, we stay busy all year round.
How do you stay so busy without getting sick?
That's easy. My elves and I take Balance of Nature.
Balance of Nature? What's that?
Using the magic of modern technology, Balance of Nature has taken whole fruits and vegetables and stuffed them into little capsules.
And they keep you healthy?
Works for me. What do you think, Gimbal?
Well, I take it, and I haven't had a sick day in over 3,000 years.
So make sure to stuff your stockings with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies.
There you have it from the man himself. Stuff your stockings with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies to stay healthy all year round. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO to get a free stocking stuffer with your first order.
Have a Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft, the holidays are now upon us. Do you want the gift that keeps on giving? Of course you do. How about giving yourself a healthier life and more energy to do the things you want to do with family and friends? If you've been feeling like a grumpy old man lately, it's time to get your testosterone level checked at Low T Center. I did. It's quick, easy, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results within minutes. Plus, their services are covered by most health insurance. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy and can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. Low T Center even has convenient and flexible hours. So give yourself the gift that keeps on giving this December. Call Low T Center now and tell them Dan Proft sent you. Call today, 630-409-4305. That number, 630-409-4305, or go online to lowtcenter.com.
Too high. Your property taxes are too high. Illinois has the second highest property tax rate in the country, a burden that unfairly penalizes people like you. Why does Illinois have the second highest property tax rate in the country? Because elected officials spend too much money. Year after year, lawmakers promise to freeze the property tax rate. They make false promises at election time and fail to get the job done. The result? Property tax rates go up and up. It's time to force the politicians to keep their promise to voters. Join Americans for Prosperity in the fight to freeze property taxes. Go to afpil.org to start a tax freeze petition in your community. Go to afpil.org to put the brakes on runaway property taxes. If you're sick and tired of ever-increasing property taxes, do something about it. Go to afpil.org, paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
This is Dan Proft with an Upstream idea brought to you in part by the Illinois Opportunity Project. 97. That's the percentage of Chicago Teachers Union members who voted yes in a recent mock vote. Yes, they voted. They are prepared to go out on strike for the second time in 4 years. The annual average CPS teacher salary is just under $80,000. And that's before you include their health insurance benefits and guaranteed 7-figure pensions. The bankrupt, junk-rated Chicago public schools spend more than $15,000 annually per pupil, and yet 75% of 4th and 8th graders are neither
Our
proficient
officers
in
are out of
reading nor
control,
math. This in a system
and
of
our
nearly
black men
400,000
have
students.
no
So who's the bad guy
justice.
here? Is it the teachers union or the mayor's office? Yes, there are no white hats in the story of central planners from City Hall fighting with the central planners from the teachers union over who gets to be the lead central planner at CPS. If the teachers strike, they deserve to be unlocked from their jobs. CPS students deserve access to schools that will give them the opportunity to earn an education that sets them on a course for success in life. The only way that happens is if the adults inside CPS, the parents, and the adults outside CPS, state political leaders, change the flow of money away from central planners and to families so that they may make the same choices for their children that Tiny Dancer did for his kids matriculating at the University of Chicago Lab School. For more ideas like this, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now, here's Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're following right now. Mayor Emanuel apologizing and a state rep proposing a bill for recall. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He's taken a lot of heat for his call to temporarily ban Muslims from coming to America, but Donald Trump counters.
Many of my friends who are Muslims came out and they said, you know, we like Donald.
And so do Republican voters in South Carolina. Trump's support increased after his proposed ban in a new Fox presidential poll that gives Trump a 20-point lead in that early primary state. Rival candidate Carly Fiorina calls his plan
a religious test, which is most definitely a violation of our Constitution.
Israel's prime minister also opposes it. And
You want
Trump
to try and
has
get somebody on that Naperville Central prayer?
Yes. If you have the article, it's in the Tribune. You'll see there's the coach you can reach out to, the communications guy from the district, and also the Wisconsin-based group that's filed the complaint.
Okay, and then we also have Fred Bayer's Weekly at 7, and then we have Mark Stein at 8:08.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. All right. That's good.
So who
Covers
should we
a lot
tease?
of turf.
Should we tease the prayer? No one really is talking about that.
I think we should stay like on Trump and immigration.
Okay.
So we could do like and we'll tease Mark Stein. All right. Do you want to do the tease, or are we doing this?
Let's do the tease first.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Should non-citizens be given constitutional rights? We'll discuss with Mark Stein.
We're back at 5 a.m. 560. The answer.
All right.
It was a gorgeous tease. It was.
Thank you
nice.
very much. It's very matter of fact, I find.
Yeah,
I don't have the energy to be clever right now. My head is in Los Cabos, Mexico.
Yeah, he's getting into the script.
Right on the Sea of Cortez.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
What's going on?
Nothing. Hi.
I got nothing. Just want you to really sell this trip. You're excited about going to
Yes.
Los Cabos.
Smiling the whole time. It's going to be great. Hold on. You got it. Did you get the tease? You got it. I mean, do you have it?
Down there, going to stop the flood of illegal immigrants coming over from Los Cabos. Rounding up a posse to go
buy
to
a
Los
trip for
Cabos.
yourself and buy a trip for an illegal
Yeah.
and bring them back with you.
Right.
Looking for a bride? We have the suite for
Right.
you.
We're taking a paramilitary unit
Mail-ordered
down to
bride.
Los Cabos, Mexico.
All right. You ready? Smiles, everyone. Smiles.
Our morning show loses this trip to Mexico.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Ready?
You're on.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And it's that time of the year again. The weather here in Chicago is getting cold, but the sun is shining in Los Cabos, Mexico.
And that's where we'll be heading in April for a week of luxury and fun at the Secrets Puerto Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort.
Nice accent. It's an all-inclusive, all suites, all adults only. Oh.
Do that again.
Yeah. It's an all-inclusive, all suites, adults-only resort located in beautiful Los Cabos, Mexico. It's just 30 minutes from the Los Cabos International Airport, right on the Sea of Cortez.
The resort features 8 restaurants and 4 bars serving unlimited premium drinks. And don't forget room service available 24 hours a day.
We've partnered with Apple Vacations to protect. We've partnered with Apple Vacations to put together a trip you won't forget. When you book your trip to join us, you'll enjoy luxurious accommodations, which includes a junior suite with an ocean view. That means you'll be able to see the ocean from the terrace or balcony of your room.
The Secrets Puerto Los Cabos also features 2 sparkling pools, access to 3 miles of pristine beaches, which means plenty of snorkeling, sailing, fishing, or just long walks on the beach. And there's also a world-class spa.
Long walks on the beach is one of my turn-ons. And adjacent to the property are 2 different 9-hole courses designed by Jack Nicholas and Greg Norman, which feature oceanfront holes, elevation changes, and incredible vistas.
Our last trip sold out, so don't wait to book with Apple Vacations and join us in Cabo. Visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword escape. That's 560theanswer.com, keyword escape, and escape to Cabo with us. Keep rolling. Okay.
Page 2.
You want to do the first one?
Oh, surely. Christmas is just days away, and this year, give yourself the gift of sunshine when you escape to Cabo with us and Apple Vacations. Give this trip as a gift to a loved one or treat yourself this holiday season.
It's a new year, and it's time for a change of scenery. Escape the cold, snowy Chicago winter and join us in Cabo in April.
Valentine's Day is less than a month away. This year, ditch the same old flowers and candy routine and give the gift of sunshine. Bring your Valentine with you and join us in Cabo in April.
Time is running out to book your trip to Cabo with Apple Vacations. Wait, hold on. Okay. Time is running out to book your trip to Cabo with Apple Vacations. In less than a month, this trip will close for good. Don't miss your chance to escape to Cabo.
Fabulous. I
All
want
right.
to vote.
Yeah.
That right there convinced me that I want to vote.
All recommend that you eat more fruits and vegetables every day. So if you can't, won't, or don't, Texas Superfood is made for you.
It's borderline shocking how much energy I have.
Join us on TexasSuperfood.com.
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 9:07 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Like the southbound tri-state still has significant delays from 120 to 176. Northbound it's slow from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eden's outbound stop and go Foster to Lake Avenue with a crash on the right side. 44 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound fine at 19. The Kennedy is 43 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. The Ike 52 minutes from Thorndale to the Loop. Stevenson 56 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and the Ryan 30 minutes 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher is next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Mild this afternoon, sun and patchy clouds, high 51. Clouds tonight and a low at 41. Cloudy and windy tomorrow, high 57. Cloudy and mild Friday, high 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Clouds 47 degrees at O'Hare, 51 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9:30. Mike Gallagher starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
When you can't trust the mainstream media, where do you turn? Get the answers from Mike Gallagher right now.